Good morning, y'all, or afternoon. It's afternoon for some of you. It's morning for some of you still, but it's afternoon for some of you still. I am going to get this over and done with for the day. Well, actually, I'm going to try to possibly fit 2 streams in today. There's so much that I want to get through and talk about. But Betty, I was watching old Bedster this morning and had some ignorant shit to say. And BJ, I come to find out, had some ignorant shit to say. So in true nonsense fashion, we're going to do multiple streams that lead into each other, and I can prove what I'm saying with their words. So buckle up and let's get going. Morning, y'all. How's everybody's Monday going so far? You guys off to a good week? Sorry, I didn't give you much warning again this morning. I just fit them in where I fit them in, and I was, when I'm ready and have what I want laid out, then I just pretty much schedule a stream and hit live. Hey, Music City. Hey, Whispers. Hey, Connie. Hey, We Got Shit. Rocky, Bombs, Becca, Amy, Dazed and Amazed, Ree, Shelly, Shop, Pika, Lucia, Connie, Mickey, Akira, Lisa, JC, Jennifer, Margot, Wolfie, Tracy. All right, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great birthday today. Hey, Cranky. Hey, Shay. All right. So some people just miss the point constantly. Like it's kind of a chronic situation. Hey, Denim. Hey, me. I wasn't even going to address this because I didn't know this happened until I just found out by Jay's review of this. But there's a perfect segue in here, and there's a perfect spot for me to be able to explain something to her that she fails to miss because she's wrapping it up in something else, and I'm just not. Ooh, it's rainy for you. Barking at the moon. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah. All of us have been dealing with Kenzie's cold since. My sinuses are still like just a mess, but we're getting there. Hey, Captain Mother. Oh, I hope you had a good weekend. We got shit. That's a lot, though. That's a lot. Drizzling for all of you guys. We have beautiful weather. I can't complain about there. Snowing. Oh, yeah. I'm not. It's only supposed to be in the 60s today here, but I'm grateful for it. All right. Hey, Curvy Barbie. So we've got a few to get through. We're not cooking today. Nope. We're actually going to start with BJ because BJ is going to take us into what so many are missing, the bigger picture here. And we're only going to address a little short section of this because it's ridiculous. I mean, it is what it is. You'll hear what she's doing. But this is what I'm going to be addressing. And then we're going to get into the bigger picture of what they're doing, AKA, remember, these are the team members. Betty, Justin, Mr. and Mrs. E, Josh from the lab, BJ, Nick the Hat. Like, these are the team members. These are the team that Tony spoke about publicly. So let's let BJ take us into what we're going to talk about today.
Thank y'all, everybody, for being here with me and talking to me while I go. I really like her. I really like her. I really hope that
She's talking about Flava.
I'm sorry. I do. I hope she busts Clue a new one because let me say what I was gonna say so I don't forget. Okay.
She really likes CKC too. I heard it's kind of funny for them because all these people don't like BHB, or they claim they don't like BHB, but that's her team member, her buddy.
And
I'll remind you.
Listen, I know some of you like nonsense. We all ain't gonna like some of the same people.
That right there cracks me up in itself. I know some of you like nonsense. Okay, weird.
But I'm gonna say this to nonsense, and I'm gonna say this to Kathy P. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm tired of this shit. And you can go back and you can look months ago, and I've always said the same thing.
Say it.
I've heard both of these people say this. They're like, "Oh, Brittany's so puffed up. Oh, Brittany thinks she's the shit now. Brittany's."
No, I said you are puffed up like a peacock. Get it right. You do. You've got this new formed energy coming in all these chats around places. You do. It's obvious to everyone besides you, I guess.
Brittany thinks that now that she's got backing, she's not afraid. I've never been afraid.
I didn't say you have backing because, well, I mean, if you want to get into the people you think are backing you and their problematic history, we could go there too, and why that doesn't bother me either.
Right.
You're surrounding yourself with people that are as messy as you, I guess, maybe is what you want to say.
I have no. What are you talking about? First of all, for you, nonsense. You said,
Okay.
"Yeah, I want to know something."
Okay. I'm here to answer all of the questions.
Last night, nonsense made a comment, and I
imagine that nonsense talking.
I clipped it.
Oh, she clipped it. She clipped it.
I have the clip of it.
Oh,
nonsense. You said that. Oh my God, Brittany's so puffed up. She's puffed up
like a peacock at the fair.
And she thinks that she's, badass now that she's got all this back in.
Can't even quote me right. Yeah, you clipped it.
But you have no clue how much is being clipped.
I didn't say you don't know how much is being clipped.
And when all these people are gone, like, what exactly are you going to do, nonsense?
Nothing. I'm going to watch you fall on your face flat out like you're doing right now. That's it. I don't have to do anything besides play your own words and watch you unravel. But you're missing the point of what I'm talking about once again, and I think so many others. So I'm going to take you on a little tour.
I'm just curious because you're not the first person to say that. So what
people that you think, quote unquote, are backing you are hate bonding with you because you have a common enemy. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the whole relationship that you have. These same people have videos on their page calling you out because what you do to victims and their families. These same people have gone at your quote unquote team members, Betty especially, and other people because of their exploitation of victims and their tragedies. That's what you're failing to miss. You're so caught up in this little, like, you have some people that dislike me. Okay, those people are never going to get you anywhere, trust and believe. But you go sit with those people and have all the fun you want. Please do. They were irrelevant 2 years ago and they'll continue to be irrelevant today. But I'm going to take you on a factual walk of things that you might forget you're doing and your team members are doing.
What exactly is clip that you got? And what exactly is it that you're going to do?
Play your own words just like I do every day, baby girl. But good try.
When all these people are gone. Because everything that I've said about you.
Are these people going to fill your funds for a lawyer when you're dropped on your ass and there's a countersuit filed against you asking for a friend? Are these people going to take up for you like you took up for Betty? Anybody remember that? Do you guys remember that?
Has always been what I said.
Oh, what? Wait, that was something profound right there.
Nonsense. I'm just curious because you're not the first person to say that.
Well, shocking.
So what exactly is clip that you got, and what exactly is it that you're going to do when all these people are gone? Because everything that I've said about you has always been what I said.
Oh, that was profound. Everything you've said about me has always been what you've said. Lies and complete bullshit and missing the point. Oh, okay. That was so profound.
I stand on it. I've said this
I don't even know what the fuck you're standing on, ma'am.
since day one. I think
You don't stand either. You fall asleep sitting straight up.
no offense. No offense to anybody in my chat, but I think she's a hypocrite. I think she's a fraud.
Prove it. You think all these things, but you can't prove it. And I've called myself a hypocrite. And
I think she don't stand on anything that she claims that she believes in.
let me show you something I stand on that I believe in very easily today.
Because if she did, she would not support the people that she sits with.
Who do I sit with and who do I support? Again, this weird lumping me in of shit that I wasn't a part of, that you were a part of, or you were friends with these people that I might not have issues with, because the same issues I have with those people, the people that are calling them out do the same type of shit. Okay. But carry on.
You can't sit there families and you don't support real life and all that, but then
I don't. And you were just saying how much you liked a real lifer in the beginning of the, ooh, girly. Ugh. The funny thing is going into somebody's chat for me isn't a friendship and isn't meaning support. I go in people's chats that I don't even fuck with or like, but I'm not lumped into those people. I'm only lumped into certain groups when it's convenient for you guys, or you want to try and shame me because I'm not taking your stance on things.
Then you go sit with people that go real live and do the absolute most.
Who do I go sit with that goes real life? And if you want to play that game, I don't think you're going to win at that one, because a lot of the people that you hang out with do those things. But carry on.
And she will not call it out.
I won't call it out. Yet I called out when you were being lied on about speaking about Kathy P's son, which didn't happen. I called that out. I called out how foul it was for Cotton Candy to clip the video of your children. And I also said, Queen Bee, it was horrible for her to ask for the video to be sent to her. And I stood up for that. But I stood up for it 2 years after it happened. You didn't even handle that situation. You just made it into content. It's pretty foul that nobody protected those children. And while you guys are using that situation to target one person, everybody forgets that that was your responsibility also to protect your children and handle that. And you should have filed charges against Cotton right then and there, but you never did. In fact, you guys were buddies for a little bit after that. Say it ain't so. And then the person who condoned that share that Cotton said on panel with, you became really good buddies with. Say it ain't fucking so, but you want me to have a problem. But I did speak out about it. I did speak openly and out about how foul all that shit was. And what else you got to say?
She will not call it out. So nonsense. I have always said that about you. I can but go back and prove.
Always said what? That I'm a fraud and you can't prove it. You can't say shit. You can't prove shit. That's why you have to use other people's low blows and body shaming and parent shaming and all that weird shit. Okay. And
that. So it ain't nothing new, honey. This ain't nothing.
A hypocrite. We're all hypocrites. Buckle up if you think you're not.
New that I've been saying just today. I ain't just started saying,
Helen, I miss you.
These past 2 weeks. I've always said that about you.
Oh, I've always said that about you.
Kathy P.
All right. Well, let's take a little walk down memory lane for a moment, because I don't have to remind you by just saying, oh, BJ's a fraud. Just take my word for it. BJ's a fraud. Take my word for it. Tiffany Marie, I expect a 14-point dissertation of her dangerous driving skills right now and affecting other people on the road. Okay. I will be looking for that, because pinning comments and live streaming while live is dangerous to other people on the road. Sammy, thank you so much. Let's just take a walk because people are forgetting what I'm talking about. What Brittany supports in harming victims and their families. Like, I don't give a shit about all your weird creator bullshit and your infighting. I don't care. I'm not going to care today, but I have stood up and said and spoke out against it. I have, but you forget that it only works when you want it to fucking work. And you can't say I didn't because I fucking did. All of you that had a problem with me, well, people were on my panel telling me about the cotton situation. I didn't even know that fucking shit happened. So you wanted me to take a stance against something when I didn't even have all the information in my hand at the time to know what the hell was actually going on. And I'm sorry, I don't trust none of you. If you want to be honest, I don't trust none of you until I see the clips myself and saw it walked through of what actually happened and how it transpired and who was all involved. But again, I remind you, a lot of you people sat in the chats while that went down almost 2 years ago and now have a problem with it, but didn't have a problem with it then. But you expect me to come back a year and a half, 2 years later and have a problem with it. Well, I did. I spoke out against it once I figured it all out. I mean, it's not that fucking hard. But let me remind you of why I have a problem with BJ and what she does to victims and their families and who she supports. So I'm going to segue here into a little live stream of her support in Bullhorn Betty, just to remind people of who she supports. And then I'm going to walk you into what Bullhorn Betty is currently doing. You know, this is her team members. Oh, and by the way, you went on this morning to talk about how, you know, you like Sinner. I don't care if you like Sinner, BJ. That's never been a problem for me. I don't care who goes wherever. You're grown adults. But did you know that your team member that you're about here in this clip that I'm going to show people to support, did you know that that person was one time, I don't know if he still is, against Bullhorn? Did you know that? Have you asked your team member how she feels? I mean, you're such a good friend to all these people, right? Let's listen to this.
Screenshot shot. Yes, you did. I got it. Can you believe that? We'll get into that more too, but I want to tell you guys something that happened to me today. Okay. So I have not talked to anybody about anything. Okay. Anything. Tony and I, hey, Mr. Mathis, was your nose itching? I was just about to bring you up.
She was going to talk about something that happened to her, and then Tony popped in the chat, and she was like, oh, wait, I got to do this first. I forgot. I'm a part of the team.
Let me pull it up. Tony and I was talking today, and
we've all seen recently how she defends.
Hang on, guys. I'm pulling it up.
We've seen her defend Bullhorn Betty, get the tattoo of Sebastian's name. We've seen all the defense, but I just want to remind people of this before I segue into Bullhorn Betty. This is the shit I can't take seriously from you, and this is where you will always be. Will you continue to try and get me into your weird hate bonding and creator to creator bullshit? I'll continue to come back to what's being done to the victims and the families that you condone. Like shit like this.
All collectively stand together. And I want to come to you guys because we are Sebastian's army, right?
They're Sebastian's
We're
army.
Absolutely Sebastian's army. And I believe in standing in unity and in solidarity with one another. And when one of our own needs help, we have to be there.
One of our own. She just called Betty one of her own. And if you don't think she's talking about Betty, hold on.
To help, that's what I believe. I believe in banding together for your friends. So
banding together for your friends. She called Betty her friend. See, the thing is you continue to do this weird thing of who I sit with and who I'm friends with and what I condone and co-sign and all that shit when you can't even prove that these people are friends of mine. Never talked about them that way. Just because I go in chats and pop up. Fuck, I went over to Jay's this morning. Hate bonded like a motherfucker. Hell yes, I did. bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on a Monday morning. Sign me right up for that hate bonding.
Today, something very interesting happened. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to ask you guys a favor. I'm going to ask my mods
I appreciate that, but there doesn't even need to be any teams. Her mouth does the talking.
I just dropped a link in chat. Can you do me a favor and grab that link that I just dropped in chat? It's for Bullhorn Betty. Okay. As you guys know, Betty is going through a really hard time with the courts in Tennessee.
Oh,
Very unfairly.
oh,
Absolutely unfairly has been targeted for merely trying to help Seth find his son.
yes. Again, how are we all forgetting that she supports her friend who is being unfairly targeted by the courts, while her friend stalked and harassed the parents of a missing child, kept them under surveillance, hopped out in the middle of traffic, and verbally assaulted an elderly man? How are we forgetting that? This is why I don't hate bond with very many people, because I don't forget what these people do.
So Betty has a very expensive appeal
Oh.
that she has to pay for. So all of us, you know.
Hey, EKC, strap up those boots and wear them. You, by proxy, are friends with BJ, who's friends with Bullhorn. I love that for you. Love that. I wonder how JLR feels about that.
Me, all of us creators, me, Justin, Josh.
You want to play those games?
Seth, you know, Tony, all of us.
You motherfuckers want to play those games? I can play those games all day long, right? Oh, this pretend you sit with somebody because you go in their chat. I can play that right back at you. The difference is I don't have to play it back at you. I can just watch you guys all with your words and watch how far and fast you crumble.
Nick, all of us who are working together are collectively coming together to help our friend. And we're asking you guys, as Sebastian's army as well, if you can also help.
Rubber, that's where we're going.
It would mean so much, even if it's just $5, right? Even if we can just give, even if it's $2, you know. I know that everybody's going through, you know, a tough time with it being inflation and all that. So not everybody's made of money, but if anybody can just donate, you know, even if it's just $1 or $2, it would help more than you know.
Help your friend who's being so unfairly targeted for her own behavior and choices.
These fees. Oh my goodness, give me.
We got about what? Where are we at? 48 hours? Wednesday morning, 9 a.m.
Yeah, second, guys. I'm so sorry.
Sammy, thank you for the support. Sammy says, show the receipts, BJ, on who nonsense sits next to you. That's the worst. Yet BJ adores MGL and adored Queen Bee until Queen Bee showed respect to Granny's watching Flip Flopper. Say it ain't so. Thank you for the support. Anybody that knows that the island was built on the fact that I sit alone. I go in chats. There's a few people that I support. There's a very, very distinct. I do what I do on my own. I don't have a group of people. I can take and leave stuff. I'm a grown-ass woman who likes certain things about certain people, thinks everybody has a bigger purpose and everybody has potential. A lot of you just don't ever tap into that. That's a you thing, not a me thing. But I can see good in almost everybody. I can also see the foul shit done by pretty much everybody. So when they want you to take up a cause, remember that their cause usually has a lot of baggage of their own with it. Wealthy, thank you for being a member. This was the most peaceful part, where you got to get a break before we go into Betty, because Betty and BJ in one stream is a lot. I just want you to remember, this isn't like, I'm not just telling you this is her friend. I'm not just telling you that this is her team member. I'm not just telling you, like, I don't have to make those things up like they do about me. She says these things. She said these things out here publicly. She told you Betty was her friend, that they were going to stand in unity and support Betty, and Betty was being unfairly targeted. Well, it's the parents of a missing child who Betty has been targeting. I don't have to just tell you. I can show you these things with their own words. But you want to see what your team member was up to today? You want to take a little walk down memory lane? She's going to come back soon, unfortunately.
Okay, so what else do you guys see the link now? Dolly says, if you come for me, I come for you. I don't know what you mean about Dolly. What? Anyway.
Cash, can I use you as an example for a moment, since you run the island anyways? It's really truly Cash's island. We're just here. Cash goes every fucking where he wants to. Every single place. He's got memberships to every single person you can think of. Do you think I've ever given Cash 1 ounce of shit over where he goes? And he's one of my OG mods. Like my original mods. I have never given Cash shit, never side-eyed Cash. Well, I've side-eyed Cash a few times when he trolls me. Never once. You guys are grown adults, and a lot of you can see what's going on, and you like to go everywhere and do whatever you want. Ooh, B. Tim. Congrats, Britt, for admitting to perjury in your own sworn court doc about being afraid and admitting you were never afraid. I am sure perjury is not an offense you can go to jail for in PA. Keep talking. Thanks, B. Tim, for the support. And yeah, she did do that this morning, too. I'm saving that piece of it for when I read the filings and the responses, because there's a whole other piece of it. But I wanted you guys to hear out of her mouth that Betty's her friend, right? They're standing in unity with Betty because Betty's being unfairly targeted.
So, the mod circulated the link. If you guys see it, like I said, it's no pressure. We're just trying to help out.
We're just trying to help out
as much as we can. And if anybody like I said, if anybody wants to give, even if it's $1, it helps. So that means more to me than you know.
Means more to her than you know. Supporting Betty means more to her than you'll know.
Hold on, Tony. I'll pin it. Give me just a second.
Oh,
I'll pin it. I'll pin it so people can.
Tony isn't running the show, though, is he? Tony popped into the stream. She was going to tell you about a story of something that happened to her. And then Tony pops up and she's like, oh, shit. I forgot. I got to drop Betty's GoFundMe. Tony says, pin it. She pins it.
If you want to donate, help out a little bit. Give me just a second. Did it let it? Give me a second, guys. I'll pin it.
And by the way, for anybody coming in late, you can run all over the internet with Becky sniffling, because yes, I have what's called a cold, and I took sinus medicine, and my sinuses are draining like a mofo right now. So yes, I'm all the sniffly things with chronic sinus issues. Please run, tell that, and make up all of the fucking salacious stories you can. Please do. I love it for you guys.
All right, there you go. So it's pinned at the top. If anybody wants to help, we can do this, and I know that if the roles were reversed and I needed help, they would do the same for me or any of us. So that's what we do. We have to band together. So thank you to the mods. Thank you, everybody. Listen, even if you can't help, if you have a community post or you have social media, and please don't.
Cash, I know you will. You won't let me down. You never fail me.
Don't feel bad if you can't. That's okay. Everybody has to.
Oh, I feel fine, you guys. I'm still my spicy asshole self. Cold ain't gonna get me down.
Take care of themselves too. If you can't help, share it out. Share it on your social media. Share it to your Facebook or your X account or anything like that. Totally up to you. I want to tell you guys something that happened today that really makes me angry. And I contemplated on telling you, but I want to tell you guys because I think people need to know the weird things that are going on publicly and privately. Seth, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. I just want to thank those that are helping Betty. By helping her, you are helping me and Sebastian. Thank you and be blessed. I hope you're doing all right. We're thinking about you, friend. Built for the bullshit.
Oh, friends. Well, let's go over here and see what her friend was up to this morning. Let's go over here. Let's go to Bullhorn Betty from this morning.
Well, we've had a busy morning so far. We've heard the fate of Wayland. Wayland.
I'm going to fast forward it some.
Now, her husband is in this window. After that, the neighbor said Suzanne broke free.
We're going to fast forward it some more. We're going to speed it up.
That's awful. Bart Simpson. I mean, it's Brad. No, Brad's brother, Bart. Yeah, I guess you're right. His brother is Bart Simpson. This has got to be tough. They've had children. You know, I know that no matter how you look at a situation like this, those children are forever affected. And it's just sad because they most likely lost their mom and their father. They have reason to believe that she's no longer with us. And yeah, you're right. It was Bart Simpson. Now, this is the next case. We're going to go over just a little bit. I know you guys have heard this, heard about her.
We got more fast forwarding to do.
On a warrant, Gary, and that was the boyfriend. He was picked up on a warrant into August disappearance of 13-year-old Janiyah McMahon. This is the photo. It does give me very uncomfortable feelings with a child on the way. Anything can happen, especially young parents. Of course, the reward.
Okay, here we go.
Just wanted to kind of give you guys the rundown before we dove into Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Many people know because of some posts on Dog the Bounty Hunter's page that it appears he was in Tennessee. Is in Tennessee. These pictures came from 19 hours ago. This is a sign 10 or 13 minutes from
Jones. And what did you say? Hold on. Oh, I'm finally caught up. I haven't listened to BJ since she joined the team. I heard her on Jay's this morning and hope she understands she totally messed up by telling the truth, that she's not scared. Yeah, Jones. And yeah, I've got that to go with the filings. I didn't even know that happened until somebody messaged me and said, Rubber Ramada Room, thank you so much. I'll have to check out your clips. I didn't know that happened until somebody said that Jay was on her ass. And I was like, okay, let me pop my hate bonded ass over there. So I popped into Jay's and I was like, whoa, when the hell did this happen? And it was this morning. And I was like, oh my God, because I was watching Betty to lay out shit that I was working on with another piece. I have like 3 different streams laid out right now with different clips and stuff. But Betty kind of was able to maneuver her mouth this morning enough to me so I can lay in 2 streams at once. Like, you guys will see what I'm going to do here, but this is all of it's a mess. And she's like, BJ keeps missing the point of why I've been on that ass. Like, people continue to think that there's some like underlying weird personal thing with me and BJ. No, it's not. Her words and what she's done in this case is my problems with her. And a lot of that has been her panel and what she hosts on her panel. But she has taken it to such a personal level by allowing the vile shit. And I just always go back right to her words, her actions, her behaviors. If I was to do the things that she does to me or allows on her panel, oh my God, she would there would never be the end of it. She would cry unbelievably. But she's supporting Betty. She's supporting this team who has re-victimized Katie and Chris over and over again off of misinformation and disinformation. And today is a prime example of that team doing that. So listen, we've got a lot to get through and a lot of clips that are coming to be inlaid here. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun one. Thank you all for being here too.
Hendersonville, and of course the reward flyer for any information leading to his whereabouts.
Somebody else. See you next Tuesday. I have tissues from Costco. Thank you though. I will put it away for my next tissue grab. My snotty nose and my snotty ass.
We've got all of these things. It appears that he's there, and we were kind of put on notice by this video right here, going past the Tennessee sign saying beware of dog. So that was our first clue that he was in Tennessee, and God bless him and Francine for being in Tennessee.
He was there for a wedding of his son. Okay. And I don't know why anybody even, this has been talked about on social media by the family.
Yesterday I was talking, it was kind of crazy because I was just talking about this. I seen this when I was looking for any information about the people that had showed up at another at night intelligence agency affiliate's home. And I came across
using a missing child to promote merch. I mean, great. Sammy, thank you again for the support. I really appreciate it, you guys.
Listen, I told you guys yesterday, I didn't realize that they sold clothing. Well, it just so happens he made a statement here, and he says, anyone who makes a purchase from Francie's store, screenshot the receipt and DM me. This is what Dog is saying. DM me with your, and you'll receive a personal call from me. Be sure to include your phone number in the DM. This offer stands until Thanksgiving. Aloha. So
by the team actually running with the fact that Dog was in Tennessee after the court TV was inciting dangerous things, in my opinion. By Dog going on court TV and saying that any citizen can kick in a door and do a citizen's arrest, that's inciting, in my opinion, and asking for dangerous behavior. And then you have potential Dog. Can you imagine one of these fangirls or fanboys thinking that they're going to get recognition from Dog the Bounty Hunter and go kick in the door to Chris and Katie's, thinking that they have something, because that's what they're alleging. That's what they're implying with all of their things. They might not be saying it, but that's what they've been implying heavily, that they have some sort of evidence to prove something along the way. They are inciting something potentially extremely dangerous to happen to this family. And I'm telling you, these families in Tennessee really like their weapons. So going in and kicking a door in is not a good idea. Let law enforcement do their jobs and follow the case. That's it. All of this other shit. Plus, if Dog was allowed to do that, do you think there would have been a show of him hunting down bounties? Do you really think that there would have been a whole show if he could just legally go kick in doors like he claimed he could on court TV? No. No. Mm-mm. Come on, people. Let's use some common sense these days.
I thought that was pretty interesting. If you guys want a personalized call from Dog the Bounty Hunter, go to bountyware.com, order something, screenshot your receipt, and send it over to Dog DM with your phone number, and you could be called by the dog. How cool is that? How cool is that? And just in time for Christmas, right? So I thought it was pretty interesting. So that's not really the conversation that I wanted to talk.
Rabbit hole, I drug you, kicking and screaming. Don't you know? I drag you guys in. I pull you guys in. I amp off. I feed off my chat.
Talk about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, for those that are coming in or new to this case, he is a 15-year-old autistic child that disappeared from inside his locked home and has not been seen or heard from since the evening before February 26th by a third party, and that was at the Texas Roadhouse Grill. And the last time he was seen by a third party was around 6:30 on Sunday, February 25th. Now, since then,
okay, wait. The way she said that is all fucked up. She's got that wrong. But the way she's jumbling that together is the art of confusion.
Order something, screenshot your receipt, and send it over to Dog DM with your phone number, and you could be called by the dog. How cool is that? How cool is that? And just in time for Christmas, right? So I thought it was pretty interesting. So that's not really the conversation that I wanted to talk about. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, for those that are coming in or new to this case, he is a 15-year-old autistic child that disappeared from inside his locked home and has not been seen or heard from since the evening before February 26th by a third party. And that
he was seen on camera taking the trash out, which was confirmed by Chloe, the PI that was working on behalf of Seth on Web Sleuth's interview. That law enforcement had a video of him taking out the trash. Okay, but they just want to disregard that too. Third party, she is right, would have been the Texas Roadhouse.
That was at the Texas Roadhouse Grill. And the last time he was seen by a third party was around 6:30 on Sunday, February 25th.
Okay.
Now, since then, this case has kind of grew legs and arms of its own and is kind of just out there. And it's created a lot of
it's grew legs, it's grew tentacles like you. You're one of those tentacles, the noise surrounding the case. The actual case has had no change. There's been no new updates or anything like that. So right off the bat, for anybody that's coming in here for an update or breaking news, there has not been any breaking news or new updates, factual updates on this case since February. If you want any actual factual updates, go to the TBI website for the most recent up-to-date information. That is where this case, which isn't even a true crime case at this point in time, we have awareness of a missing child. We have an Amber Alert. That's it. It's not a true crime case. Everything is on the table, but it is an open investigation, not a criminal investigation.
Attention. And some of that attention is not good attention. It's attention from attention-seeking people trying to make money off, defaming and hurting people, which is really sad. We keep to the facts, and wherever those facts go, they go. If I deem a parent is guilty or innocent, it's based upon work that I've done.
If she deems a parent innocent or guilty, it's based on work that she has done. Okay, check. Remember, these are the people that BJ supports. This is her team member, her friend. They're standing in unity with her. Okay? It's going to really take a deep dive downwards in the next hour. And I want you to remember, BJ supports this, but continues to miss the point of why I have a problem with BJ and her content and what they do to victims and their families. You'll get a great display of that today.
It doesn't mean that it's true. It's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. But I don't destroy the people. I'm not calling their work. I'm not hunting them down like these other channels are for people that support Seth. And I love how people say it's not happening. Yet we had people show up at connected to these people that showed up to my.
If people are doing this to Seth, if Seth has people showing up at his home, calling his workplace, doing all these things, he should be filing for ROs, just like Katie and Chris did. If there is evidence, which we have not seen on social media, of people keeping him under surveillance, stalking and harassing him, calling his workplace, all of those things, he should be investing his time and energy into getting ROs, just like Chris and Katie did against Betty. Now, the team members, all of the offshoots, the little tentacles, the noise creators around this that have really, truly nothing to do with Sebastian's disappearance, besides creating misinformation and confusion and chaos, they have all these claims of things being done to them when factually we know that that's not true. And a lot of them have created the beds that they lay in today.
Court hearing that have come around my house that they publicize on their channels as coming by my home and screaming things out here for no good reason.
People were showing up to Betty's court hearings, things of that nature, before Sebastian ever went missing. Two separate situations. Betty is hated by many on the internet for her behavior that she has displayed for years. Sebastian went missing in February. The two situations are completely polar opposite, but Betty inserted herself and brought her baggage with her in the outside noise around Sebastian's case.
We cover cases of missing and missing kids and people that have had brutal things happen to them. Hardly we go over to people's houses just to go over to people's houses, or we just ride by just to ride by. And so while these creators are now trying to backtrack and act like they don't do.
Meanwhile, she rode by the Proudfoot home, the Bowersox home, bragged about it just to ride by, to see what the lights would be like, to see what the neighborhood looked like. She also put missing flyers, posters in the neighborhood, trespassed across neighbors' lawns. Okay, gotcha though. But you didn't drive from Florida all the way to Tennessee to do that either, right? You didn't do that. You live in Florida. They live in Tennessee. You didn't magically show up in Tennessee from Florida to do all those things to the parents of a missing child. You didn't go to the stepfather's work site in Memphis, did you? You didn't go to the stepfather's RV camp in Mississippi, did you? You didn't do any of that. Just because, right? Oh, wait, you're not a private investigator. You're not an investigator of any sort. You're not even an investigative journalist. You don't even have any credentials besides fake credentials you printed off the internet.
Do it. We have 3 years of showing how they have done that and continue to do it, even though they're lying to their audience.
And she right there admits that this has been going on for years. So again, tell me how it has anything to do with Sebastian's case. It doesn't, but continue to speak out loud. I love it for you guys.
But what has happened here is all of these distractions are drowning away Sebastian's name. People are stuck on all of this stuff. I can tell you, I'm butthurt about the lies. I'm butthurt about the misinformation and disinformation that keeps happening from case to case from very specific channels.
She's butthurt. I've got to watch that again just because I love this. We got to slow it down and take it in, because this is where it gets fun for me.
To people's houses just to go over to people's houses, or we just ride by just to ride by. And so while these creators are now trying to backtrack and act like they don't do it, we have 3 years of showing how they have done that and continue to do it, even though they're lying to their audience. But what has happened here is all of these distractions are drowning away Sebastian's name. People are stuck on all of this stuff. I can tell you, I'm butthurt about the lies. I'm butthurt about the misinformation and disinformation that.
She's butthurt about the misinformation and disinformation. Just wait, she's about to fill you full of it.
Keeps happening from case to case from very specific channels that only protect bad guys and people that do horrible things to one another.
Only protect bad guys and people who do horrible things to one another when there's no evidence that anybody harmed Sebastian, and you admitted that the other day. You admitted that there's no evidence that anybody harmed Sebastian. We reviewed that the other day, and here you are
They
again.
want to protect them and keep them out of jail to hurt other people, and that's what their platforms are based upon. But Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, some things that I've noticed, my emails is only filling up with the drama, the ideas, the thinking outside of the boxes, the places to look, the avocation for Sebastian is getting further and further away. And this child is being kept in the spotlight, but he's being kept in the spotlight for all of the wrong reasons. And so what I'd like to do is start challenging my audience to start going back to where we came from. At the end of the day, our primary goal is to find out any information that could lead to the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and bring him home, period. We have expended a lot of money. I have, I'm in risk of my freedom over this case, and I still want to bring this boy home and bring this boy home safely. We are crossing
Risked my freedom, Jesus.
over the 9-month mark. And it's a very tough pill to swallow. Okay. We have not brought this child home. We have no earthly idea where this child could be. We definitely have evidence and information in our possession, custody, and control that leads.
That's an important piece right there. I want you to take this in.
We are crossing over the 9-month mark. And it's a very tough pill to swallow. Okay. We have not brought this child home. We have no earthly idea where this child could be. We definitely have evidence and information in our possession, custody, and control that
we have evidence and information in our custody and control.
leads us to a place of where we think something has happened to him.
Why wouldn't law enforcement have that evidence? Why would somebody like Bullhorn Betty have evidence and information? Can anybody answer that? Because it's a fucking flat out lie. Once again, I'm going to play that back again because I want you to take that in, what they're trying to tell you.
We are crossing over the 9-month mark. And it's a very tough pill to swallow. Okay. We have not brought this child home. We have no earthly idea where this child could be. We definitely have evidence and information in our possession, custody, and control that leads us to a place of where we think something has happened to him, at least for me and my channel.
Oh, at least for her and her channel. She's not talking about actual evidence that law enforcement would use or information that law enforcement would use. It's just her opinion to deem parents guilty. You know, that's just what she does. That's what she does on her channel.
We've gotten away from searching for Sebastian Wayne.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Nobody's searching. Shocker.
Drake Rogers.
Besides,
I used to be able to go and search his name and come up with 1,000 things that people had questions about, that to dive in about, that people had about. And those posts on social media, like in the Facebook groups, are dwindling down. So what I want to do is go over the facts of this case. And then we're going to go over what those facts of the case mean.
Tell me that's not a dog whistle for people to start posting crazy, salacious shit in Facebook groups again. They're running out of misinformation to run with content. Tell me that's not a dog whistle to get people to post crazy shit. I've shown you time and time again how the flow of misinformation is created off of complete random posts on social media, on Facebook or other platforms, and then brought here, twisted and turned and spun into a story that they all run with. I've showed you that numerous times, and she's just whistling, trying to get it to go again.
To me, and where I think we need to concentrate efforts and start pulling this case back to where it needs to be, spotlighting Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, spotlighting his father and the diligent and dedicated work that his father is doing to try to bring his son home, showcasing the work that At Night Intelligence Agency is doing and Dog the Bounty Hunter is doing.
Wait, is she trying to get the attention off of Sebastian's case? That couldn't be what she's doing.
Drake Rogers, spotlighting his father and the diligent and dedicated work that his father is doing to try to bring his son home.
But you just told us everybody's gotten away from searching. So you're going to turn your channel into the Seth show? Seth has his own channel. Seth is allowed to talk about his son whenever he wants to. You've been told by a judge that this family no longer exists to you.
showcasing the work that At Night Intelligence Agency is doing. And
the riddles that At Night Media is putting out there, you want to showcase the riddles? You've been doing that. You've been attempting to make stories out of their riddles and failing.
Dog the Bounty Hunter is doing. Dog the Bounty Hunter is in Tennessee. It appears that he has made it known he is in
Dog the Bounty Hunter was in Tennessee for his son's wedding.
Tennessee, and he is working this case. I just want to tell Dog, thank you for taking your time. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for taking your time.
Will he stay there for Betty's court date? I have no idea. Again, Dog was in Tennessee for a wedding of his child.
Time to put this boy front and center. Thank you for going out there and giving this boy a fighting chance and looking into this case with open eyes. Thank you for being Dog. And I pray to
Cash, by the way, for those of you that are wondering what Cash is on this morning, this is called when Cash gets spunky, he is allowed to control my channel and talk all the shit he wants to about me, because he controls my child, therefore controls me by essence, and I just have to take the continued abuse from my mod. I'm just joking. Cash just fucks around. Have some fun, take some laughs, people.
God, we get something moving.
Cash is one of my favorites.
Here. We've got a lot of dedicated people working on this case, from Silver's on the Scene, Justin for All. Tony and Seth are working diligently behind the scenes to try to keep this case moving and in the spotlight. We are working in front of the scenes to keep this child in the spotlight. And I'm praying to God that we start advocating for this child again instead of all this drama. These people are hateful. We know that they're hateful. This is no surprise. Now let's get on to business. We'll let the courts deal with this, and they can talk about it until the cows come home. But this is, that lawsuit is to stop the nastiness and the garbage that they're doing and putting into this case and turning this case into a circus.
But you said the other day it wasn't anything about that. Let's back that up once again. A lot of these are profound statements that they're saying out loud publicly. So the other day she said it had nothing to do with Sebastian. It had to do with all this other stuff. Then they told you it was about cyberbullying. Then they told you it was a federal injunction. Then they told you it was a class action. What is it about today?
Know that they're hateful. This is no surprise. Now let's get on to business. We'll let the courts deal with this, and they can talk about it until the cows come home. But this is, that lawsuit is to stop the nastiness and the garbage that they're doing into this case and turn the case into a circus.
Factually, the filings that these people have interfered with the search and investigation into a missing child. That's what the complaint factually states. And the complaint is asking for the defamation, the threats to stop. That's what the complaint is factually. It's not a class action. It's not a federal filing. It's a state filing with an injunction. That's what it is. But they're trying to make it into something it's not.
But we've got to get back at some point. We've got to move away from the drama and start getting back to talking and advocating about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's out there somewhere.
But you just told us you wanted to focus on Seth and At Night Media. What is it? Which you're saying things out of both sides of your mouth. You're telling us that it's gotten away from the search. Nobody's searching anymore. And you think that you need to dedicate time to showing Seth's efforts and all about Seth, and then about At Night and what a great job they're doing, and Dog the Bounty Hunter with his riddles and his BS and if anybody can take him seriously now, showing that he was in Tennessee, watching them play riddles right in front of your face, and then coming to find out that it was a wedding for his child. I mean, you've got bigger issues than you even thought before. But now she's saying she wants to get it back to Sebastian. Which is it, Betty? Can you pick a lane and stay in it?
The more we talk about him, the more we get him further into the algorithm and further across this United States and the world. We don't know where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is. What we do know is he was overstimulated the day before. He comes home around 6:30. There's no information about what he did.
We don't know if he was overstimulated the day before at all. Speaking from experience, kids with ADHD and on the spectrum, some of them, not all. This is my own experience with my child on the spectrum who is ADHD and all sorts of different things. But going to a bounce house, a jump house, an arcade, and dinner would not overstimulate her at all. In fact, she would have energy for days still left over after that. And that just depends on which day it is. Some days it might overstimulate her because of the crowds of people and the loud noises and things of that nature. It just depends on how she's feeling at a baseline that day. Each individual kid is different, and every day is different. But carry on, you know so much.
Routines or anything like that from 6:30 to 9, only that he went straight to his room and around 9 o'clock his mother told him to go to bed. Doesn't sound like he followed his evening routines. Doesn't even sound like he brushed his teeth. But we don't know. We don't know. It doesn't appear.
And it's not information you would need to know. Law enforcement knows what transpired, and that's where it needs to be, and that's it.
Like the mother did any of those nightly routines either. It didn't seem like she brushed her teeth. It sounds like she fell asleep on the couch, woke up, was told to go to bed, and like a dutiful wife, she puts the dogs away and goes straight to bed and goes to sleep.
And who cares? Who cares? That means nothing.
That's what is told to us. No showers, no brushing of the teeth, no cleaning up.
They didn't tell us any of that. In fact, quite the opposite. That wasn't talked about. So Betty's just speculating again, but she is butthurt about the disinformation and misinformation that is continued to put out here. She's butthurt about that, but continues to do it herself.
Just boom, boom, right? Then we find out that there's a 3-hour or 2-hour conversation on the phone, which is leading people to say, okay, it's a little wonky. Why at that time when you just told us you were going to sleep, are we now hearing about this long-winded conversation? Oh, well, it was because she was slightly falling asleep. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into that. We learned that she went to bed allegedly around midnight, and that her son, sometime between the time she went to bed to the time she woke up the next morning, miraculously just decided that he has no autism anymore. He's going to go out into the wild, wild world. He doesn't need money, doesn't need food, doesn't even need.
So there's that. There's that. Once again, that's not how anybody on the spectrum works.
Son, sometime between the time she went to bed to the time she woke up the next morning, miraculously just decided that he has no autism anymore. He's going to go out into the wild, wild world. He doesn't need money, doesn't need food, doesn't even need the shoes that he is accustomed to putting on before he ever walks out of the house. And he just dips out. He says, I'm done with this popsicle stand. I'm going to do it on my own. Walks out, and he is never seen again, despite having multiple cameras in 2 separate locations that he would have had to walk past in order to move anywhere, to walk anywhere. But somehow those cameras never picked up the phone, or picked up his image, rather. And then we start going back and reviewing all of the articles.
Oh, really? All of the articles, huh?
And somebody brought something up to me that didn't sit right with me.
Oh.
Because
What's
at the
that?
end of the day, there really is only one person that is pushing the dog scent. Only one.
Who's that? Who's pushing the dog scent?
When you go back to all of the news articles, all the statements from law enforcement, everything, there was no dog scent.
Well, actually, let's go over here and take a look right quick. Let's go to an article about the dog scent. Oh, wait. Right here. What's this? WKRN.com? WKRN and a timeline? Do they have a timeline? Oh, this isn't the timeline, is it? The timeline. The disappearance of Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers. March 26th. Updated April 2nd. Well, what does it say right here? What's it say right here under Thursday, February 29th? Search for Sebastian hits 4 days. In a press conference Thursday, February 29th, officials said they had received several tips amid calls for people to check their surveillance cameras, but none were confirmed sightings of Sebastian. There was a glimpse of hope that day as search dogs tracked a scent, but it turned out to be a false alert. Investigators also drained a pond to the east of Sebastian's home and found nothing. Oh, but there wasn't a scent, was there? Well, let's go over here to the dispatch audio. Well, actually, let's let Betty talk a little further, and then I'll switch it up.
From the beginning of this case to where we sit right now, the only reason why we think there was a dog hit is because of the stepfather pushing. There was a dog hit and a dog trail. We've heard from Eric Craddock that no such trail exists, that any trail, the one trail that they thought they had.
Meanwhile, I just showed you a news article with the timeline that even mentions the scent that didn't turn out to be Sebastian. But there was a dog. Search dogs tracked a scent. There's that from WKRN in the official timeline from investigators.
Was a false lead. And then every single article you read from the beginning, no scent, No scent. No scent was detected. No scent was detected. No scent was detected. No scent was detected. You don't believe me? Go do your own research. Fact find my allegations. Somebody made a video about it, and somebody sent that over to me.
And I just showed you right here. Not only that, but let's go here for a moment, right quick. Let's go here. Let's see what this article says. I can't remember which one's which.
Being used on day 5 of the search for a missing autistic 15-year-old boy from Sumner County. Good evening and welcome to News 2 Now at 10. I'm Haley Wilkes. Sebastian Rogers was last seen early Monday morning at his home in Hendersonville, and there's been no sign of him since. News 2's Sarah Smith is joining us live tonight from Sumner County with more on that search. Sarah.
Haley, it's cold and wet out here, but first responders say they're not giving up in finding Sebastian, and neither are his friends. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers still missing after 5 days. The community desperate for answers. Rebecca Goodard's son is in Sebastian's class at Beach High School.
Being a mom of children with special needs and autism and the cognitive impairment and things.
I just pulled news clips around that day, but we've got a few.
It's like I'm living my worst nightmare. I'm watching it unfold.
Investigators looking for Sebastian around the clock using canines, drones, and helicopters. Rebecca and other neighbors searching too.
I took Monday off work and I looked in every outbuilding, every creepy barn and chicken coop that I've ever seen from a road in
Wow, they had multiple canines out there? No.
this area.
Sebastian's parents not talking to the media. Deputies say, though, that they are cooperating. Rebecca says she's only met them at school a few times.
I do drop my kids off at their classroom, and so I see him and say hello to him, and he's a very sweet, kind, seems to be a happy boy.
Crews say they've collectively searched thousands of miles for Sebastian. People here not wanting to rest until he's home safe.
I think no matter what happens in Sumner County with this, Sumner County needs a lot of prayer and comfort right now because it's been a big week.
Right now, deputies aren't asking for volunteers, but what they say that you can do is check out your home security cameras.
Oh, they weren't asking for volunteers?
Live in Hendersonville.
No, say it ain't so. They weren't asking. Let's go over here. Let's see. What could this one possibly say? It couldn't say something about the timeline, could it? Well, let's watch and see.
It's 1 month since the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers began. The team was reported missing from his home in Hendersonville. He hasn't been seen since. Jaxie Pitchen is live now with how people are pitching in to help find Sebastian.
Well, Nikki, for the first 2.5 weeks, first responders searched about 2,000 miles trying to locate Sebastian,
but law enforcement didn't do enough. Law enforcement didn't take this seriously. They didn't really do enough at all.
They found no sign of him. Now, that's when they decided to scale back those efforts, but the TBI emphasized that does not mean they're giving up on the Sumner County teen. They say much of the work currently being done to bring him home may not necessarily be public or visible. There is still an active Amber Alert for Sebastian, who has autism. The United Cajun Navy has since deployed resources in Sumner County to help locate Sebastian. As of right now, the disaster response organization is working independently of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. They used Monday to form a game plan where people in the community could participate in that search. Any volunteers can visit the United Cajun Navy's search headquarters.
Whoa, look at that response. I guess this is a figment of our imagination. There's not all these law enforcement officials out there, are there?
At 90 Volunteer Drive at 10 o'clock this morning for a safety briefing. That is in Hendersonville. You can help them out by bringing water bottles, sports drinks, and snacks. Now, Sumner County Commissioner Don Schmidt spoke out during last night's commission meeting. He emphasizes the importance of not letting Sebastian's case fall through the cracks.
I think a lot of us thought, well, he just wandered off. He's going to come back. So I made some notes because I'll be honest with you. This is like really, it's tugged on my heartstrings. I mean, lost sleep over it because I have a son that's the same age as Sebastian. Our law enforcement from the Sheriff's Department has done a great job. I went to the command center. They want Sebastian.
Oh, not even a county commissioner speaking out about this at a commission meeting. But there was not enough response, right? Law enforcement didn't do their jobs. They just sat there twiddling their thumbs.
Found probably more than parents at some, if that makes sense. They're invested in this.
Now, we reached out to the TBI for comment. They say they have no update at this time. However, they encourage everyone to keep checking their surveillance cameras and their properties for any evidence of Sebastian Rod.
Well, shit. Not all of this response, but let's let Betty continue to go because I'll switch it to the dispatch audio or the, what's it called? Why did I just draw a blank on that word? I don't even know what the hell. The no scent audio. Oh, you guys can't see it.
No scent, no scent, no scent.
Meanwhile, right here on the timeline from WKRN News on Thursday, the 29th, it says there was a glimpse of hope that day as search dogs tracked a scent. Okay.
So now we're at a quagmire.
A quagmire, huh?
Because we've been talking about this scent and this path from the beginning, and even so much as Gray Hughes putting a diagram together of this path. But when you go back and listen to law enforcement, listen to the news articles, listen to that Widener guy, which is their emergency
Ken Widener
management man, if you go back and read the articles and listen to the interviews, no scent, no scent, no scent, no scent. Is it possible there was not even a scent leaving the home? And if that is true,
how is this that hard for them to research?
that imply that if he was moved from that home, his feet never touched the ground? Is that possible? I agree with that. And hold on, Crystal. I agree with that.
And again, we don't know. There was multiple different canines hit on multiple different things. Groups of them hit on different things. They didn't lead to Sebastian, so none of them were considered anything. But there was multiple different canine dogs and multiple different canines that hit on different things going away from the home. Chris spoke about it in his call with narc divers. But Betty is going to try and push this whole theory that law enforcement has never said there was a scent. I'm going to take you to the scanner audio in just a moment.
To an extent, even listening to the call, the Ellie said himself that the dog led. But where did that call come from? How did somebody get these radio broadcasts? I'm not saying that they're not true.
The scanner audio from Jessica Danielle. Jessica Danielle got a hold of the scanner. And I'm going to play it for you right quick. This is courtesy of Jessica Danielle. I will drop her channel link in the description in a moment. Here you go. For those of you that have not seen this, this is what she is talking about.
1008 Sanford Court, Hendersonville. Caller advised that a 15-year-old girl is not in the bed. Medium white male, 30 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 1 finger going down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a pharmacologism. This is the first time it happened. I was going to be in the home before midnight. The doors are locked at this time.
Did Foreman out?
Central to 47-180, 412. Juvenile left his son at the house. The mother is driving around looking for him in the Victoria Place subdivision, and she is driving a big blue Infiniti.
Let's get there and see what's going on. Go around search of the residence. We'll go from there. I'm in the area. Check long haul up. Just seeing it.
You can take the assist line route to the missing juvenile. I checked There's no medical center ER, Southern Station ER, Southern Regional ER, and Skyline, all clear of the juvenile. You can see that the code red has them on at 745.
Next big track back up, going into the construction site over here, back towards the beach. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything? Couldn't have any shoes. Doug, is it? I do have some footprints. Right there where you're standing? Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining. No shoes, just footprints.
Autumn, it is hard to understand. It's scanner traffic and scanner audio, but Broadcastify and many other places, there's a bunch of different apps that have these scanner apps. But this is from Jessica Danielle's channel. She broke this down months ago. I put the link in the chat for her channel. But this is what Betty is trying to disregard, is this scanner. And again, at the end of it, it doesn't matter that you'll hear that the dog jumps in the pond, but it doesn't lead to Sebastian. But what Betty is trying to do is just try and twist and turn things now into this big, huge situation. This isn't the only part, and I'm going to get into that too.
He literally dove into it. Next, led me straight to the retaining pond. He just into the water. Have you seen any footprints around it? There was a few footprints in some of the softer dirt, headed straight this way on the track that he was running. Do we have a picture yet? That's simple. What was that heat signature at?
Where the riprap is, where the trees are, 25 feet maybe out in the middle. Hey guys, the construction zone, there's another pond. There's somebody standing in the woods. It looks like a person. It is a person, we know, but there's another pond. He's standing back there by himself. Past the construction zone, in the same area back there. Yeah, the north end of it, yeah. Down over here, go straight back. There's a person in the woods by that pond. There's the house on the other side of the tree line. Going back toward beach or going on the back side? Yeah, on the back side, and he's not moving. He's just standing there by himself in the woods. It's Hendersonville 517. I'm on the northeast corner in the cemetery across the tree line. Am I close?
No, the back side.
Nikki, if you can, do you have anybody there with you?
Stand by. Let me see if I can find it on my map. I got my drone grounded for the moment, and I'll see if I can do it.
Again, you guys, this is scanner audio that Jessica Danielle went back and put together.
One of the two. I'm in my truck. Two, there's four of us on foot coming across the yard, start directions. 19's on the screen.
Straight in. Keep it on. Go left. He's come back, he passed it.
The mannequin is a really weird situation. I agree with that.
Right here. One piece there. Walk as you going. Into the woods. You should be about 15 foot from it.
What's Charles' first name?
Should be all over it, whatever it is right there. The two people walking the woods. It's a mannequin. Sorry, guys. Look just like a person from the air. Here's another 66. What's the name of the child that we're looking for?
First name is Pat.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
First name is Pat. Last clothing description was black sweatpants with a white stripe, black long sleeve t-shirt with a print.
Nikki, how many drones do y'all have up? One at the moment. I've got mine grounded so I can get Sartopo up. I'll be back in the area momentarily.
29 Central on scene. Put two out here with me.
And has anybody been there since the initial? There's a whole bunch of people here now. 4 in the morning. Can you help me listen to the radio on the north end until we wrap this up, please? Yes, sir. Brandon, you've got Hendersonville Mountain Patrol coming up there, and Joe's sending some more cars if we can start from the beginning, from the original house, and set up a new plan up there. Yeah, boy, that's what we're doing now, sir. Thank you.
$1 so neighbor advised that he's found the child under his son's car, which is across the street, 2 doors up. So be sure and search under cars and under things.
And that has been talked about previously about somebody saying that they found a kid. That has been talked about, but according to what we found out from Katie via another party, that was never confirmed to have been Sebastian that was found under a car. That turned and twisted into all of this story about how the neighbors had reported and found him sleeping under a car and all this stuff, which was never confirmed. There has been no police reports of this that have been found or anything of the nature.
Who do you want to go with this other canine search and rescue?
I just talked to the GC, the construction back here. He's going to start getting the word out to all his crews that are out here working. Everybody.
Liz H, that's what one thing that I've always wondered too, if they were Adidas pants with the white stripe down the side. That's from what I understood. But some people have said solid black pants. I'm not really sure where the discrepancy comes from.
4 to 1,000. So we can get a game plan and reconvene.
Oh, Target, can you put a drone right over top of this trash can, this dumpster, if there's anything in it? 188. Van 184 is going to send you a picture.
You send out a code red for 1,008 staff.
Code red was sent out at 07:45 this morning.
2-4. We will send that in good. Can we retry that, please?
10-4, love it.
12 188. Go ahead, sir. Can you come to 1,008, please? 12 to any units that are going to be assisting with 1,008. Please come to 1,008 staff report now, please.
Start at the beginning of Kelly Lane 1000. We're going to work our way north of Kelly Lane. That's fine. I'll get these two houses right here, and we'll take the right side. The white Ford truck, that's the Hendersonville officer's house that's with me. No, that house hasn't been checked. The next house up from it, you'll see the white Ford in the driveway.
We log a neighborhood Facebook page. Post was made 1023. Check. No motion on camera.
Unit now heard. We've had an additional caller call in that was in the net stating she saw someone that made the description on Hogan's Branch, male with sandy blonde hair with a bag wrapped around his head. Chest stated he had on a reflective jacket approximately 2 hours ago.
30 command. 139 World End has a camera, but nobody's answering the door. He had some ties at White House High School, and every time he got in trouble, he wanted to go back to White House, so I notified White House PD. We're notifying this, sir.
10-4. His way up with the camera is correct.
It's 10-4. Nobody's answering, nobody's home.
In reference to that address, please run a registration check on Tennessee tag.
Tennessee.
Access Series 2012 BMW, 750 black in color, registered. At that address. Confirmed NSR.
Correct. When you can't see it, you can find any information. See if we can look up on a phone number or something. We would appreciate it.
Command the units that are at staff report.
Holy shit. All of this was going on and it's not even 10 o'clock yet. All of this has been going on and it's not even 10 o'clock, but they're trying to hone in on this whole scent situation. And again, you can go fact check my ass all day long. Go to WKRN, the official timeline that they put out. They talk about there being a scent right here. Thursday, February 29th. Search for Sebastian hits 4 days. There was a glimpse of hope that day as search dogs tracked a scent, but it turned out to be false alert. And they had this initial one that's coming up of the dog jumping into the pond. None of these scents or these following tracks or trails led to Sebastian. That we know for a fact. But what Betty is attempting to do with this new spin, again, she can't even get straight what she wants to talk about. She said that they need to pay attention to, all the dedication of Seth and then at night media. And then she talks about how it needs to go back to Sebastian. She can't pick a lane. So she's just throwing anything out there, but she's going to we're going to finish listening to this. And then I'm going to take it back to Betty and let her throw some more stupidity, and I'm going to fact check her on that too.
When you check a resident, please give me the numeric and unit numbers that have checked.
Oh, and just a reminder for anybody coming in late, I opened this up with BJ's failing to get the point once again of all of the misinformation, disinformation, and intentional harm and damage that her team, the people, that's why I review her, is because of the bullshit that she does to families going through their worst time and the shit she condones by her friends, you know, the friends she's standing in unity with, and then says all this stupid shit and fails to miss the point. Yeah. So BJ, I hope you're listening up to your buddies over here and all the harm that they do.
Check it, whether or not you made contact with anybody.
Made contact with 1000 Killing Lane. He checked all of his cameras. Nothing was on. No answer at 102 or 103 Killing Lane. 105 answer, hasn't seen it. Nothing on ring doorbell.
Oh, they're not going door to door right away that morning, are they? Oh, they were.
Before you're saying 102 is at 1002.
For anybody that doesn't understand, the police presence, the response in this situation was astounding. Amazing response from law enforcement officials and outside groups. Amazing response. EquiSearch came in and did another search weeks after the initial searches. They had continued to search the area. Within hours, they had fixed wing airplanes up. What they couldn't get to with fixed wing airplanes, they went in with drones. They had heat signatures going, you know, the FLIR systems. What they couldn't get to with a drone, they sent in ATVs and horseback. The response to this situation was intense. And they had like 12 some canines in the house and around the area within the first week.
1002. I'm sorry.
Did you ask if he had any light purple hoodie?
I don't have to answer no, but just find out if he owns a light purple hoodie with her social on.
Can I ask?
Mom doesn't advise us to call me. Yeah. They were at Dragon Square last night, just bowling. Do you have a unit go there? Make sure that he hasn't returned there. 1015 have ring cameras, but didn't pick up anything.
Oh, wait, ring cameras, but didn't pick up anything. And did you just hear that they sent people back to the locations he was at the night before just to make sure he didn't return to those locations? Do you think they grabbed security cam footage probably too of those locations? Say it ain't so.
517 Hendersonville is with me. 1000 contact, haven't seen anything either, nothing on ring doorbell. 1012 Killing Lane through 20. 1012.
Revival, absolutely, but they've taken every opportunity to try and twist that into something nefarious. But they had a response that was unprecedented with all of the different agencies, the different systems, the technology, the command center, everything. It was amazing. I wish every child that went missing got this type of response, truly. This was an incredible response and so well done by law enforcement. And to see people diminish this, that they didn't do anything and that they didn't do enough and they're so corrupt, infuriates me. Law enforcement was incredibly attentive and did what they should.
The lady at 1032, Kellen, runs the neighborhood Facebook page, and she's updating it to request people to look in their crawl spaces and hidden areas. Hey, on at 1000 Killing Lane, did y'all happen to check the crawl space? I will have to check my list, but if it wasn't locked from the outside, it was.
And once again, I see all your thank yous in the comment section of going back and pulling some of these videos to debunk some of this. You're welcome. Thank you for being here and watching with me. For a lot of us, this is redundancy, and I know it's frustrating, but she talks about how much she was butthurt by the disinformation, the misinformation. You heard that. Those are her words as she continues to put disinformation and misinformation in here. Again, I don't know what the scent actually was. There are so many ways that you could get out of a house without leaving a scent. One thing that I have always said as a hypothetical, just if a kid wanted to, if they had it planned out, right? They wanted to disappear. You could borrow somebody else's shoes that put them in a backpack. Nobody would have known you had them because they keep going back to the shoe thing. There's also when you have technicians who install different things or contractors, a lot of times, or anybody that's in the nursing field or OR techs, they have the booties that they slip over shoes. They could have slipped on a pair of those over a piece or over their feet and walked out. I mean, there's many ways beyond the narrow thinking here of not leaving a scent. But again, people want to believe that something nefarious had to have happened. We don't know. We have no idea. I don't know. But trust me, my brain has went wild with possibilities of how somebody couldn't leave a scent to somewhere. Well, there was a scent. It just didn't lead to Sebastian. So what that scent ultimately was, we don't even know.
Checked. 1018 Stafford. They are reviewing their camera footage right now. I need some check contact and they got the cameras checked. No, that's fine.
184 your low volume. They got cameras checked.
It will 1018. And I'll be out at St. John Missionary, 1085.
Resident at 1028 Keller Lane states that he just saw a kid with a black shirt, black shorts, had a phone in his hand coming across the construction. When he made contact with this gentleman.
And that is Bobby's son. According to Bobby's interview, that would be Bobby's son with shorts out there.
Subject went straight back to the woods at the top of Keller Lane. I just talked to him. He's one helping. Thank you. 12 units, when you're done with your assignment, please come back to 1008 Stafford.
2023, 24, 18, and 16 Stafford. Over cameras, nothing's been called. Operations have started at Willow Bend Drive, St. John Baptist.
Music City, absolutely agree. There's just so many possibilities outside this nefarious thinking. You know, we heard Tony on Court TV say that law enforcement stated there is absolutely zero evidence that he ever left the home. That's not what they've said. I went back through every freaking article. That is not what they said.
Just carry all the way along. One of the dumpsters and both church buses and everything also. They're making that.
10-4. Are you going back to Stafford?
DTOS, I've said the same thing myself too. I don't know, you know, and that's the last thing she saw him in. Again, could he have had stuff, you know, if this was planned or whatever, people can stash things. Like there's just other possibilities, but that's what she last saw him in. But for me too, it would be hard to know. Like I would have a hard time telling you, well, this morning, one of mine had like acid wash gray black pants on and a gray shirt and her Nike shoes. But I couldn't tell you if shoes were missing from either one of them. They're girls. They have a shit ton of shoes. There's that. Like I've thought about those, but they've made everything into a nefarious situation here.
Still on search, but general area.
1026. Keller Lane, no contact. 1028, made contact. Nothing on their cameras.
Never say never. She has said in her JLR interview that he was right alongside the dog handler when the dog jumped into the pond. But as you can tell by dispatch, that wasn't the actual case. And her story changed between the JLR interview and the Terry Lynn interview that she did too. Details have varied. And then now stories have been told on Court TV about a neighbor being sprayed with water when that was a whole other story in itself to begin with, which we'll get into when I do the Court TV debunking.
And 1030, contact, nothing on their cameras, and nothing in the treehouse behind the house. 60X, man, all houses on Keller Lane have been checked.
And Brad, those woods on that side of Long Hollow, we've been unable to fly to due to the distance with the drones. So those big woods.
Well, here's the cheat for me. I mean, I can tell you what they both were wearing this morning, but I also have cameras that pick up everything that I could just go to and easily see what they were wearing too. But That's not like, there's a lot of people that leave for work before their kids go to, there's just a lot of things, and it doesn't mean anything like they've tried to make it into. They've made it into this horrible, nefarious situation about the shoes and all of that stuff.
With the south of the house, we have been able to chisel all properties on Sandy Wood Court have been checked. We're starting on Honeysuckle now. Yeah, that's 3293 Long Hollow Pike. Beyond the creek and checking a cave behind the house.
I'm almost back to the house. Meet my partner.
We crawled back into the cave as far as I could go before it got muddy. No footprints, and it's collapsed only in about
Revival, very good point.
10 feet.
10-4, but you're out of it, correct?
No, Trooper Grinder has himself and a few troopers. They're going to hit the roads outside of our immediate vicinity and just look for him walking down the roadway somewhere.
3301 Long Hollow Pike has been cleared. Stone House, several outbuildings have been cleared. They're unlocked if anyone else wants to look.
I just sent you the endangered poster. If you can put that on our social media, please.
By 11 o'clock, 11:12, there was an endangered child alert being broadcast. You've heard so much of the response up to this point in time already. They were on it.
12 to 188.
Please.
Did y'all check inside each one of those buses behind TW Hunter?
10-4, we check them all.
Dear terms of service, I've wondered about that too.
Okay, well, we're about the three closest to the building. We asked Transville to respond to the area of National Pike and Carrying Road. There's a juvenile in that area wearing black pants and a red t-shirt. I'm shaking back and forth like he had autism. It was just reported to us. Outside of Long Hollow from Killen Lane to Center Point has been checked. Can you check the field houses that are up on top of the hill by the practice field?
Autumn, Jessica Danielle is an absolute sweetheart who put so much time and effort into this video. She did an exceptional job. So to watch Betty discredit it, in fact, I'll take the CC off because she's got it included in here. She did an exceptional job, and she is an absolute doll.
Field back behind TW Hunter. I don't see that anybody has tracked through there on foot.
10-4. The blind and my starting location's clear. Residents in Bullhorn 3221 Long Hollow Pike is clear. And from my starting location to Shackle Island, I've walked the entire creek bed and it appears clear.
Myself and 182 have been behind TW Hunter, all the way behind beach, football field and baseball field, up in the fields, checking tree lines all the way to the cemetery behind Beach Grove Presbyterian. We're still here so far, cleared. Myself and 182, we've not made ourselves around to the front of the schools, inside the school check. We're still in the back.
Very well, we get on Long Hollow Pike. 3 years.
Go ahead, 3.
The bus and the shed have been checked at 3220.
10-4.
Thank you. Union partners stop at Willow Bend and go house to house, Willow Bend. Check all those, please. See what people have driven through. If it doesn't look like they go house to house. Yeah, well, every house on Honeysuckle has been checked. People that answered the door have only seen the trash man this morning, nothing else.
Only seen the trash man this morning, nothing else. I'm going to back that up once again because that has been a note of contention lately.
Please. See what people have driven through. If it doesn't look like they go house to house. Yeah, well, every house on Honeysuckle has been checked. People that answered the door have only seen the trash man this morning, nothing else. The White House and Red Barn adjacent to DW Hunter, 2105 New Hope is clear. 3417 THP has joined in with myself and 517 on Willow Bend to check houses.
10-4.
The big holding pond has been cleared by Hendersonville Fire. They're going to rehab at Shackle Island for a bit, then go to the one over by the cemetery.
10-4.
field house is behind the beach. Soccer field's been searched. We're going to head over to the side field house across the street from the fire hall.
106, 108, 110, 112, Willowbrook, all check no contact with any homeowners. And none of these houses have crawl spaces.
Beach football complex.
Were y'all still searching that area?
Yes, sir.
Made contact with a realtor at 114. Hasn't seen him, and all the rooms have been cleared. 116 made contact with that homeowner. He said he has seen that child walking in the neighborhood in past times, but not recently.
The main field house next to the freshman annex has been completely searched. All clear. It's got beach softball, beach football. It's the one next to the beachgoing church between it and the freshman annex. It's the main football complex.
Me and Marshall's back here in the back of the cemetery back here.
No contact with anyone, and his truck is not here either. So I think the lady's here trying to get in her driveway in your cars, and is the key there by chance?
It is, but it's locked.
Okay. Well, she's trying to get in her driveway. Go ahead. We haven't had a process.
Call came in at 6:33 this morning.
There's the answer to what time the call came in. 6:33.
Great, thank you. You know, dude, man, we just put another canine on the ground at the house.
Right here. Back that up. We're just waiting on a canine.
Canine on the ground at the house. See the picture of anything.
We are breaking off Philly Gallatin for fuel.
Refuel.
The creek from Worshams to New Shackle Long Hollow and the bridge there have all been checked.
Where are you? What's your location?
I'm looking by 109 in Thornton's right now. I just got a phone call. Kid matching the descriptions, hiding under the bridge. Lower station camp behind the market. I'll be en route. I'm close.
Did we get somebody else on the other side of their nursery to come down? She stated that he could be on that side. 446. What was the last thing that? Just under the bridge. She stated that when she went down to turn around, he was gone. 446. Did you talk to the client? She's still on the bridge. Sure. White female, black leggings, I believe. Blonde hair. To her. 447, 446. You see any tracks that way? I'm taking Creek Clover. See any tracks? 446 to 447. Hold your location, please. I'm on foot now.
10-4. I know they've got the dog up there.
They've got the dog up there.
The helicopter's coming back to you. 158 Upper Station.
The residents say that EPA, approximately 5 minutes ago, somebody walked through that gate right below you.
There's somebody in black. Yeah.
There's a deputy at 158. I saw somebody in black on the tree line. I don't know if it's one of our guys.
Yeah, there's two law enforcement guys walking back here along the tree line. Let's go through there.
12 to 24. How long have they lived in that house? A year.
Where were we at before?
Cambridge Farms, Gal. 449
They already knew their previous location.
Remington in Cambridge Farms. White male, gray t-shirt, white pants. They didn't get to see his face, kind of shaggy blonde hair.
We'll be out at Lower Station, Scarlet, and Big Station with the white male juvenile with four-wheeler in the creek.
Who checked out with the juvenile on Station Gal?
This is not going to be our missing juvenile. He's with his father in the creek.
I made contact with the male, the caller, and him in the trail called about. It's not our subject.
So there is the first 11 hours of the search. You can hear them talking about the dogs. You can hear them talking about all this different stuff. I could even go further with this and pull the call between narked divers. When they went to search the pond, I could go over all of that if we want to. But again, Betty is just misinforming per usual. But I wanted to insert that because I think so many people forget about the incredible response from law enforcement. I really want people to remember that law enforcement went above and beyond. And a huge shout out once again to Jessica Danielle and the amazing work that she did putting that scanner audio together. Let's go back to Betty now because we've got a few more trail offs that we need to do. But again, you can go search this article yourself here when she says there's no scent. The timeline, the title of this article for anybody that wants it, it's from March 26th. Timeline, the disappearance of Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers. There's also other mentions of that. But again, they don't want to talk about that. Betty is just trying to spin narratives, but she's butthurt over the disinformation and misinformation. And BJ is butthurt over the fact that I won't give her a pass for her fuckery because she has friends like this and does the shit that is harmful and dangerous to the parents of a missing child. But here we are.
But where did they come from? Do we know if they came from law enforcement? I mean, we have to question these things now because we're listening to radio frequencies, but where did they come from? Could we order them right now and receive those?
She knows how scanner audio works. She's not this stupid, but she's got to put.
Because I do believe that a dog jumped in the water. But shortly after that, we learned from Eric Craddock himself that the hit was false. There was no such hit. Do we believe him or do we not believe him?
Meaning that it didn't trace to Sebastian. The dog picked something up. It didn't lead to Sebastian. But hold on. Let me just go here really fucking quick. Give me 1 second. I was going to wait and do this all in one segment, but I'll insert this really quick. Okay. Let me go over here. I've got a couple pieces from this that I'm going to insert in this, but I'll just throw this in here right quick. Make sure you guys can see. Yep, you can see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Now, I know that you, a long time ago, because I know you just did a recent interview, and this is the one thing that I got a little confused about, and I understand, you know, could be lack of sleep, could be just answering the same doggone questions 15,000 times over, and it just, but I remember in the interview that you had in the past, you said something about the dogs catching a scent going into a construction site and it just stopping in that construction site. But just recently, I think just yesterday or the day before, you did an interview with local news, and you said that the dogs did not catch any scent. That's
what they're telling me now.
So the scent that the dogs picked up near this construction site was not that of Sebastian Rogers?
That's what they told me. They said the information that I received when I asked questions previously was false information.
Interesting. Interesting. It's very interesting.
So Seth had gone on, just in case anybody's confused what I'm talking about here. Seth, and I can pull those too if you want me to. Seth had gone on and talked about what law enforcement had said. There's an article from news media, which I can pull up, with him talking about the scent, it not leading to Sebastian, so therefore it didn't anything. But now in this one, he's saying that they backtracked and said it was false information. But in previous interviews, so he has been all over the place too. But even he was on, and this confirms that he had been stating that there was a scent also. The scent didn't lead to Sebastian, okay? There was a scent. What of? We don't know, all right? It's pretty simple. Betty's little twist here, it's not that big of a deal.
I guess I keep wondering about those things because I know it was said before and then things have changed. Like things that we've heard from the Proudfoots, they have changed over time. Now, I get it that during trauma, during nerves, being interrogated, sometimes information slips through the cracks, right? Sometimes you forget things, so on and so forth. But there's been things that have been added in later on in their conversations and in their.
And truly, the scent thing has never changed. It's always been stated that there was a scent. It didn't lead to Sebastian. It's pretty simple. But again, there you go.
That's going to be the next question. Because I was, I think, shocked about how many statements were made about no scent as opposed to the pushing of the stepfather that there is scent that was followed by the dog. You know what I'm saying? Grandmother, in my opinion, no scent. He didn't walk out on his own. How at 10 p.m. can she be studying on the phone, hearing a thud while asleep, Rod? That has been the main question for quite some time now, hasn't it? Oh, thank you, Patty. God bless you. Dogs said they did, and that dogs are better than humans, so wants to check the manholes outside the home. Yeah, I agree with his assessment of that, but even if he was on the outside of the home, he wouldn't be there now. Even if he was in the manhole, they've had too much time. How are the hate channels protecting the bad guys when nobody knows who the bad guys are? Well, that's a stupid question, because I'm sorry, if you can't think for yourself and you can't put puzzle pieces together, then why are you a part of true crime? At the end of the day, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence from this inconsistencies in the statements. These are red flags to any investigator, any person that studies true crime. And I'm sorry that you don't believe that. But
and here is another one you guys might have missed. This one has been missed by many people. This was another Seth Rogers interview in the very beginning. This was actually his first interview. Oh, let me take.
He's got a big heart. He's loving. You know, he's inquisitive. He can be stubborn at times. He loves to play video games. He loves animals. I mean, he thoroughly loves animals. He likes plants. He likes to, you know, grow things. He likes to take care of things. He loves his video games. Boy, the kid loves his video games.
What has the last week been like for you as a father?
My heart is missing somewhere out here, and I'm just trying to find him. Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I can't find him.
Most of you have seen this interview, correct? I'm assuming most of you have seen this. This is why I wanted to throw this back in here, because people are missing the point. What they have done off of misinformation has continued, and now she's taking little salacious things and trying to twist it and turn it and make it into this big, huge narrative that she's trying to push. It's just not there. You can go back and watch this. Unfortunately, no matter what your thoughts or opinions are on the scent, there was a scent of something. It didn't lead to Sebastian. Like Revival said, it's inconclusive.
And when was the last time you got to see Sebastian?
Last time he was at my house. So I was supposed to have him last weekend, and it would have been 2 weekends prior. He was at my house, and I got to see him. We got to play video games.
The last time Sebastian was with Seth, to our public knowledge, according to his statements, would have been February 16th, 17th, 18th, into the 19th. The 19th was President's Day, which was a school holiday.
That's TV. Had a great weekend.
And I mean, obviously, it seems like, what has it been like working with law enforcement? Have they been great, trying to help you with this search?
They're definitely doing everything that they can to find my son.
Oh, did you hear that? Should I back that up one more time?
They're definitely doing everything that they can to find my son, and I thoroughly appreciate it. And I hope that they find him every day. I'm waking up hoping that they find him.
And obviously, so he's autistic. Are there any tendencies that he may have? Does he like hanging out in the trees or by water that could maybe help people find him?
And another reminder that I think is important to put in here is this is Seth's first interview. Now, people have shamed Chris and Katie for waiting 7-8 days to come out and talk to media or social media. But Seth himself didn't come out and speak to anybody until after Chris and Katie did. Chris and Katie came out and asked for media attention and the public's help before Seth did. Oh.
He does like treats. I mean, he loves to go fishing with me. But if he's in the city limits, he's...
Beefergs, I was feeling myself this morning.
Video games. He'd probably be,
Actually, I was like, what the hell? I didn't know that I was like, what are they? I was getting texts saying that there was clips of BJ talking shit. And I was like, I haven't heard these things that she said. When did she had done a live stream, and that's what Jay was reviewing.
maybe an arcade or something.
Okay. And has he ever done something like this before? Just leave the house for a short period of time or anything like that?
No.
And I mean, how much sleep have you lost over this last week? Walk me through kind of what that experience has been.
I haven't had very much sleep at all. I mean, coffee and energy drinks is my main diet has been.
Yeah. And I know you said you were out there searching. Are there any particular places that you're looking that you think he might be at?
I'm looking everywhere. I'm not from this area, so I don't know it. So I'm just everywhere. I keep telling people, keep your head up and your eyes open. If you see him, call 911. If my son hears my voice, buddy, you need to get a phone and call 911.
Definitely. And you live in Clarksville, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you've been out here in the Hendersonville area just searching for him the last week?
Every day.
And I guess, are you in close contact with his mother and stepfather about the situation?
Not really. I mean, we're in communication at least once a day, but that's about it.
Oh, wait. They were in communication at least once a day? I bet many of you have heard that wasn't even happening in the beginning, right? Maggie, that's where Chris is actually from. Chris graduated from high school in Tennessee. His family is all from Tennessee. So once they were done with their military service, Chris served for the Navy for 16 years. They eventually made their way back to Tennessee, him and Katie did. And then they helped Seth follow 4 months later.
I'm looking for him,
Yeah. And I know, obviously with social media, it's tough because as a parent, you just want your kid home. But there's been a lot of speculation too about possible criminal investigations. I mean, what's kind of your reaction to all of that chatter on social media?
I don't have social media, man.
Okay.
I don't have social media, which we find out later. He does have Facebook. He'd had Facebook all along. But he did it for a private friends and family type of Facebook. And he did have YouTube also. So why he said he had no social media in his first interview, your guess is as good as mine. I give him the benefit of the doubt. He might have been thinking of maybe he didn't have TikTok or something in, I don't know.
But just hearing people kind of speculate about that in the community, I guess, how does that make you feel?
I think they need to, instead of being keyboard warriors, they need to put feet on the ground and start looking for my son. If they really want to help, that's what they should be doing instead of coming up with their own opinion. How about get out there and we find my son?
And how much does your son Sebastian mean to you?
He's my life.
Do you have any other kids?
No, man.
Okay. And I guess, is there, anything you want to say? I don't know how well you know the stepfather or the mother, but is there anything you'd like to say about that and that situation and how he just kind of disappeared from the house?
I have nothing to say about that.
Okay. And if you could say something to Sebastian right now, what would you say?
If you are hearing this, son, you need to tell people who you are and tell them to call 911 for you. You need to tell people that you are Sebastian Rogers and that you need them to call 911.
And anything you'd like to tell him about returning home?
I miss you, buddy. And I'm waiting. I want to hear from you. Okay.
All right.
Call 911 so we can find you, man. Come on, son.
Okay. There is actually, I think, more to that interview too. If you would like to watch more of it, I can. I think most of you have seen these though, but I just want to remind a few people, or like, I know that there's some people coming into this case late. There's actually a channel that I'm going to be debunking. That's a smaller channel that's doing some complete misinformation spreading too. Based on rumor, speculation, and just bullshit. And they are a new audience, new people that are running with all of this crazy narratives that are being pushed by these channels again. And it's just got to stop. Like, what is any of this helping? We have heard so many twists and turns, but when it comes to the facts of the case, law enforcement has not changed anything. None of their stance has changed. But people like Betty and others continue to do all of this. Let's go back to Betty, and then I've got more clips to insert. Thank you for getting whiplash with me. I hope if you have any questions, ask. I might be able to direct you to videos or where things were said. Please feel free.
I can't fix stupid on my channel. Okay, Sarah? And I apologize if I'm offensive to you, but I think it's a brain problem. When people can't connect the dots, it's a brain problem. When you have to be told how to connect the dots, you're not a suitable person for my channel. I'm looking for people that can think outside of the box. And if you think that this child just walked out of the house, you're not part of my box. You see what I'm saying? Because the chances of this child just walking out of the home are in the millionth of a percentile. Okay? And how do you learn that? By studying statistics, looking at body language, listening to the words that are coming out of their mouth and how they're coming out of their mouth. So there are bad guys out there. And it seems to me that there are certain groups that gravitate toward these bad guys to help protect them, run interference, run distractions, and provide this misinformation and disinformation that helps them escape justice while profiting. Okay?
No proof of that whatsoever, but Betty's just running more.
There are bad guys out there, and you want.
Yeah, there are.
I know how you find them. Go to any hate channel. I guarantee they're protecting them.
Oh, so would I be considered a hate channel? I think we're considered a hate channel, right? Oh, Revival, right. I gotta go after only people that are getting views, right? God, the level of stupidity that one just spews is, it hurts my head. It hurts my head. But it's actually quite, I will say it's quite fun watching all the people that are like cheering her on lately and like supporting that shit, because this is what she supports. She supports all the harm being done to the families and has helped with doing that. So, I mean, it's just fun watching it all come around. People show you who they are and what they really stand for. Give them some hate bonding. They'll completely forget about the victims being re-victimized and the families being re-victimized any day.
When they hit those hate channels, and you can, and people, good people that are supposed to be Christians going to church, and people that have, say, college educations and part of the Navy, they don't hang out with felons typically. They don't run.
Meanwhile, Chris and Katie both served in the Navy, and that's what she's using here. But most of these people sought them out. Clue has talked about how she messaged Chris over and over again to get a response because she had questions. Most of these people reached out to them. Duchess is not a criminal, and she was connected via a third party family member of Katie's that wanted to help spread the word. I mean, this is just fucking wild.
To nasty felons that can't even speak a conversation or have a paragraph without the F-bomb falling out of their mouth because they're so ignorant. So again, normal people don't run to those channels for help, because those channels do unscrupulous business practices like hunting down people at their home, like trying to get them arrested when they've only decided they don't like the story or they have an opinion of the story.
Hunting down people at their homes. Isn't that what Betty does, though? Isn't Betty the one that goes and protests in front of people's homes? Who is she talking about hunting people down at their homes? Who else shows up at people's homes besides Betty?
Sarah. These people are doing dirty deeds and you support them. Every time you go over there and watch them do this and think, oh,
Well, I mean, JLR, Dolly, Silvers, CJ, like they all went to the home too, but
yeah, it's cool. Because you get a little bit of attention and people act a little friendly to you. You're willing to sell your soul to the devil. These are bad people out here.
Boxer Mom, you know who did a really good like deep dives on the dogs, the scents? Michelle After Dark. Michelle did a great discussion around that. I don't know, but she had some, like, she talked about multiple different theories and things that happen with scents and dog tracking and stuff. I would encourage you to go watch her and some of those discussions if you're interested. I truly don't know. And thank you for being a member. Those are things that are over my head.
You know who they protect? They protect people like Dawn and Candace, Mommy Dearest, and Freddy Krueger. So if you don't know that there's bad guys, I can't.
Wait, somebody's protecting Freddy Krueger? What? Who's Freddy Krueger? And who's protecting Freddy Krueger? And who's Mommy Dearest? She couldn't be talking about Katie and Chris. NJ, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Seth interview? No, that is actually with what's her name? Caitlin Miller, Fox 17. Sorry, had to go grab you that. Caitlin Miller, Fox 17. Dawn and Candace? I don't know who she's talking about, but none of these parents have been charged with a crime by law enforcement, so there's that.
Help you. Just saying. Ellie confirmed there was a scent trail, that it did not lead to Sebastian. They didn't say it was a fault. Just my opinion. I think you're wrong.
Well, actually, politics do play a role in this, especially with At Night Media and Dog the Bounty Hunter and that whole stance. There is a political agenda and motivation by a lot of these people. Betty claims to be a political activist. There is political undertones throughout this case. Whether you guys want to talk about it or not, that's up to you. We discussed it at length the other day. You can go check out that, but there is political undertones in this whole entire extremist propaganda pushing and rhetoric that Betty and the team do.
I would do your research because I read it myself yesterday. So I would go back and reread the reports, reread the news articles. Hold on, I will read it for you.
And I know that makes people uncomfortable to hear me say that about politics and political agendas and the climate of things right now, but it is what it is. I don't sugarcoat shit, and it is absolutely being used to push propaganda, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that shit ever. Whether it makes you uncomfortable or not, I'm sorry about that. This isn't about who you voted for or anything. They're using the climate and the propaganda pushing. It's all a machine that runs, and the disinformation, misinformation, it's used to misinform and mislead the public. It's the same type of rhetoric we see on higher levels down to Betty and the bullshit that they're doing, the riddles that At Night and those people are doing, the political involvement of those people and using their stance. It just factually is what's happening.
Let me find it. I didn't pull it up, so just give me a second to locate it, but I can guarantee you that's incorrect. They absolutely said it was a false lead, a false hit.
Aries, I got a question for you right quick though. Were you saying something like, well, I guess if you have my email, will you email me? Somebody said that you were praising Putin, and I was like, wait, what? No, there has to be a. Could you email me so we could talk? Because that shit, Pika will boot your ass out for sure on. And I don't want you to like get offended or hurt, but no, we're talking about the facts of what they're doing in this case, though. The bigger picture, like, no, we're not doing that.
Sebastian.
I just got a comment, Aries, about something you said potentially in another chat. So I just wanted to, if you would message me and we could discuss, that would be great. Just because I think there was something misinterpreted or miscommunicated there, because I don't think anybody's praising Putin. So there's that. But that's how one of your comments must have got interpreted. So anyways, back to this.
Make that false dog head.
Yeah, Cash, I think something got misinterpreted.
See if that produces.
That's why I just want to make sure, because I was like, I can't see Aries doing anything like that.
If anybody has that article, let me go to the news tab.
Yeah, I figured it was something that was misinterpreted. That's what I figured. So
Okay, let's see what this one says.
I just don't want you getting like a reputation based on misinformation. You've never done shit like that over here, so I was like,
I wish there was a way. Does anybody know how to? Let me see if I can try to get.
Oh, Dick Tim,
No.
I actually
I don't know how
enjoy
to
the
get
conversations sometimes.
the search feature on here, but if somebody has it, can you guys send it to me by email? But no,
She has to have her audience send her everything. Like, this is the shit. Like, do these people do nothing for themselves? It really irritates me. I'm sorry. As somebody who prides themselves on researching and tracking stuff on my own, like, it just infuriates me to watch people rely on their subs to hold their hands for every fucking thing. It really drives me nuts. Sorry.
I absolutely said that there was a false hit.
Oh, what'd Sammy say? Did
I
I
know I
miss
saw
it?
it on my video as well. Let me just keep looking.
Uh-oh. Hold on, Sammy. You were talking to Revival, not me, but no, that's Sammy. That is definitely not it. They're missing the point again. Completely missing the point. I don't care about any of them supporting BJ. I'm talking about BJ's behavior and activities and what she does in this case. BJ openly supports Betty. How they fail and twist and turn all of that stuff into something it's not. It is what it is. Again, not threatened by anybody. She sat by while my nieces were being threatened. You are what you are. There's no turning or twisting any of that. Thank you for letting me know. But no, I could care less. Completely care less.
I don't remember, or I can't find it right off
Gotcha,
on the
Revival.
go. Somebody's going to have to send it to me, but only my opinion. I will get that to you, and I will read that aloud for you, so you can have at least confidence that the information is accurate. I remember Eric Craddock himself stating it at some point. I think it was at a podium or on something or other. I'm not sure. Oh, Patty gifted 1 Bullhorn Betty membership, and Sarah received it. Sarah, be nice. God bless you. Thank you for that. So you're going against what Doug just put out. I'm confused. I thought you guys were together. I don't work with anybody. Just because we're on a lawsuit together doesn't mean we work together or anything like that. That man is free to do whatever he's wanting to do. We just have similar claims with the same similar people. That's it. So I don't know what you're doing, going against what he just put out. I just read everything he just put out. What are you saying he just put out, Miranda? No, and just to clarify, I work with no one. Okay, the only person I really collaborate with here and there is Chronicles of Olivia. And I don't know how many times I can say that because I've said
I work with no one. Really, though? You work with no one? How is that true? How is that true?
that every which way from Sunday. I don't work with anyone.
Oh.
Okay. I'm independent. I work for myself. I work by myself. I do my independent investigations. I do my independent reporting. I do my independent videos. I do my independent lives. I don't need a whole network of people. I work with a lot of people to get things done, but I don't need a network of people to do my job. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's getting so twisted by the truth. Okay, these people, somebody start sending, these are trolls. Start getting them gone. I'm done with these people in my chat. I don't need this shit this morning. We're talking about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and they're talking about hate, trying to get people, oh, you're not working with this person, or you're not saying this. I don't work for anybody. I don't say anything. I say it comes from me. Okay, that's the only person I'm responsible for. Just like your hate and bitter is the only thing you're responsible for. I'd say change your attitude. It's freaking Monday. Go to church on a Sunday. Good God, get some love in your heart. Love you, BHB. You're a lot like me, though you are a couple of years older. Great minds. Keep busting your butt and fighting the good fight. I will. Sebastian's Army, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's a perfect time to reinsert this. Like, She says she works with no one, but wait.
Was your nose itching? I was just about to bring you up. Let me pull it up. Tony and I was talking today, and hang on, guys. I'm pulling it up. We all collectively stand together.
Oh,
and I want to come to you guys because we are Sebastian's army, right?
Sammy, the desperation was there 2 years ago and it still remains. Nothing's changed over here. We just continue on with the misinformation and the harm that's happened to victims and their families, and they can continue to talk about me in whichever way they want to, and it'll be what it is. And trust me, my circle has gotten smaller and smaller. If anybody associates with that type of stuff and what was done, I've been down that road. I don't need to go back down it again. And anybody wants to sit over there and do those things, please do. But just know that I will be nowhere to be found by any of those people who support that stuff.
We're absolutely Sebastian's army, and I believe in standing in unity and in solidarity with one another. And when one of our own needs help, we have to be there to help. That's what I believe. I believe in banding together for your friends. So
in unity, banding together for your friends, solidarity. Betty works alone.
Today, something very interesting happened. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to ask you guys a favor. I'm going to ask my mods. I just dropped a link in chat. Can you do me a favor and grab that link that I just dropped in chat? It's for Bullhorn Betty. Okay. As you guys know, Betty is going through a really hard time with the courts in Tennessee. Very unfairly, absolutely unfairly, has been targeted for merely trying to help Seth find his son. So Betty has a very expensive appeal that she has to pay for. So all of us, all of us creators, me, Justin, Josh, Seth, Tony, all of us, Nick, all of us who are working together are collectively coming together to help our friends. And we're asking you guys as Sebastian's army as well, if you can also help. It would.
Oh, Kimberly, I'm not talking about. I have people that I get along with great that support those channels. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the overall picture. Like, yeah, no, please don't ever take it that way. I don't care where you guys go, what you guys get into, but trust and believe I do see, of course, I get screenshots of people coming over here playing nice and then running around. This is all intentional, you guys. I knew this was building as soon as I mentioned it the other day on panel. This was a slap in the face because it was what it was. And I knew there would be repercussions of me being honest, but that's what happens. And people don't like it. And they're going to take every chance they can. And I'm just going to keep doing what I do.
It would.
But please don't take it that if you're in those places, even if you do, like, you're grown adults, do what you do.
Means so much, even if it's just $5, right? Even if we can just give, even if it's $2, I know that everybody's going through, a tough time with it being inflation and all that. So not everybody's made of money, but if anybody can just donate, even if it's just $1 or $2, it would help more than for these fees. Oh my goodness, give me a second, guys. I'm so sorry.
Okay, Cash, you don't have to be grown. But Betty says she works by herself. She obviously doesn't. She's got friends in low places. Hold on, let's get it to the end where she says that one of their
what? Anyway, so the mod circulated the link if you guys see it. Like I said, it's no pressure. We're just trying to help out as much as we can. And if anybody if anybody wants to give, even if it's $1, it helps. So that means more to me than Hold on, Tony, I'll pin it. Give me just a second. I'll pin it I'll pin it so people can
Oh, gotta pin
if
it.
you want to donate, help out a little bit. Give me just a second. Did it let it? Give me a second, guys. I'll pin it. All right, there you go. So it's pinned at the top. If anybody wants to help, we can do this, you know. And I know that if the roles were reversed and I needed help, they would do the same for me or any of us. So that's what we do. We have to band together. So,
do you guys really think that what Betty just said? Let's listen to Betty again. Do you think Betty would do the same if it was Brittany?
Saying this, I don't work for anybody. I don't say anything. I say it comes from me. Okay, that's the only person I'm responsible for. Just like your hate and bitter is the only thing you're responsible for. I'd say change your attitude. It's freaking Monday. Go to church on a Sunday. Good God, get some love in your heart. Love you, BHB. You're a lot like me, though you are a couple of years older. Great minds. Keep busting your butt and fighting the good fight. I will. Sebastian's Army, absolutely. She was answering a question, so if people would stop bringing them up, Betty would be talking about it. And yeah, that's exactly right. People sit here and try to constantly distract, and it's very frustrating. We're trying to get things back to Sebastian, and they always got to try to make it toward me. And this has nothing to do with Bullhorn Betty. This has nothing to do with Dog the Bounty Hunter. This has to do with bringing a child home, which, again, these people that are in my chat are coming from these hate channels that protect bad guys. And
wait, but you said that it has to do with at night. You want to highlight what good information. What? In the beginning of this, she just said, am I losing my mind? She just said she wanted to highlight all the amazing work that Dog the Bounty Hunter, At Night Media, and Seth were doing. What? Now she's saying it has nothing to do with them. I'm getting whiplash.
And so they sit here and do everything they can to distract from a 15-year-old boy that's missing that needs help. And they try to paint us as evil. I don't know anybody that's more evil than trying to take away the face and the name of a victim, which is what they do each and every day. They wake up to find a way to take this boy's voice even further away from him. What do? All you can do is either get frustrated or pray for these evil people. That's it.
Pray for
That's
them.
all you can do. Because arguing with them makes you look like an idiot. And look how much time we've spent just talking about their chip on their shoulder. Take that garbage someplace. Take it back to the garbage pill kids, okay? We don't want it over here. If you're not here for Sebastian, then get the hell out of here. Because that's what creators need to start doing. We're here for victims. We're not
me losing it, Wolfie.
Not here for the petty drama that creates a lot of money. Could I get in the drama? I guarantee if I got in the drama and drop that mic every single day on these people's head, I'd be making 10 times more money and have my freaking chat filled up with all these hateful people. If I really wanted to do that, that's what I want. I don't want hateful people over here. I don't want hate on my channel. I want people that want to do good. And
she wants people who are willing to target the parents of a missing child with no evidence, no factual information to back up that they did anything to harm their child, that are willing to buy into that narrative and okay what she did to the parents of a missing child. That's what she wants. If that's not hate, I don't know what is. If it's not hate to target the parents of a missing child with no evidence from law enforcement, I don't know what it is.
We want to try to find these victims and help these victims and advocate for these victims. Anybody else is trash to me, okay? They're garbage and they need to be taken to the dumpster, okay? So if that's what you're here for, please leave. We don't want it. This child deserves to have his name broadcasted. This child deserves advocation. This child deserves to be seen across this globe and across the United States. This child deserves a true fighting chance of being found and brought home to his family. This child deserves all that. He's 5'5". He's between 110 to 120 pounds. He's got black frame glasses on. He has dirty blonde to light brown hair and brown eyes. He's autistic. He's high-functioning autistic. He loves life. He loves fishing. He loves his dad. When are you guys going to remember that this is a human being and all that hate and misery that these channels encompass out of these people? This child deserves a fighting chance to be found and his story to be heard. And we are going to keep being impactful on the algorithm each and every day because this child deserves it. And some of these hate channels, if they started advocating for the cases that they thought were important, can you imagine how much better this environment would be? Everybody advocating for victims instead.
But she herself says that she only talks about high profile missing children's cases or cases that she can make high profile. Crazy.
Advocating for hate and themselves and money. When are these people going to start being ashamed of their behavior? When are they going to start really actually giving a damn about these victims? That's what I'd like to know. Because I care a lot about the cases I cover, especially ones that I invest my time, money, and resources into. But you know what? Just like trash, they do absolutely nothing but spit garbage out of their mouth and do absolutely nothing.
Holy shit.
Know?
Is she real?
Supplied, flyers, we've hung flyers, we've supplied shirts, we've supplied people, human beings to go out there and help. We have done a lot. While these people sit on their duffs, won't even show their face because they're too embarrassed They're too embarrassed for the world to know who is spilling out this garbage. And all they do is just take away every single day a little more of these victims' voices. And they try to say that they're doing it because of a cause. How is that a cause? You're injuring a family, you're injuring victims, all the while pointing at me and saying, I'm doing that? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm glad the world's starting to see. I have a high-functioning autistic daughter myself, so I understand why KP and CP restrict Sebastian's internet access. Also, just because Sebastian had a busy day doesn't mean he was overstimulated either. But wouldn't you agree that if his father thinks that that's an overstimulating day, it is, you know, overstimulation is different from one child to another child. And especially since you've got your own child that has a high-functioning autism, I'm sure you're well aware of that because a lot of people like you have told me that it's different from each child to each child. So it's not my assessment saying he was overstimulated. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what it was.
Oh, she didn't know what it was, but here she's talking about it. This is where it just goes. Yeah, I'm so scared to show my face. I had to put my hair in a ponytail because the wind, but yeah, okay, Betty. And this is going to trigger some of you. So if you haven't seen it.
But I can tell you that I asked his father, and his father feels like the day was very busy for him, if that makes any difference in your assessment. So I think that we need to look at this, and I understand everybody has their own autistic children, but you guys are the ones that taught me that.
Pay attention to what she says. Even his father says, I'm going to back that up actually, because I want you to go back to what Seth actually said.
That has a high functioning autism. I'm sure you're well aware of that because a lot of people like you have told me that it's different from each child to each child. So it's not my assessment saying he was overstimulated. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what it was. But I can tell you that I asked his father, and his father feels like the day was very busy for him, if that makes any difference in your assessment. So I think that we need to look at this, and I understand everybody has their own autistic children, but you guys are the ones that taught me that that each person has their own meltdowns, their own issues, their own likes and dislikes. And, you know, some people can deal with loud sounds and noises, and some just can't. Some don't like bugs, some love them. Some don't like dirt, some love them. Some don't like water, some can't swim, some can. Each child is different from child to child. So I'm not making this assessment based on just a whim. I'm making this assessment based on a parent that has stated they believe that day was overstimulating. Just saying. I remember asking before I ever even stated that. I hope with reward being so high, someone will talk. If they know anything, hopefully this gets answers soon. And I hope it does get answers soon. And I hope that dog can rattle some trees and
where she's going to take this is interesting. It's really interesting because she tells you she didn't know anything about autism whatsoever, but now she's got all these perceptions on autism. Okay.
Make some stuff loose, you know. That's what we need. We just need somebody to come forward and tell us what they know. There's people that know what happened. People, multiple people that know what happened to this boy. So somebody's got to be a weak link in that diagram. And somebody's got to be ready. That's a lot. I mean, think about it. Knowing that you have information, especially a younger adult / teen might hear something or know something. Can you imagine? That's a huge weight for that person to carry. A huge, huge weight. It's probably keeping them up at night. They're probably not sleeping well and probably haven't slept well for months. And they just need to get this off their chest. You know, it's sad, but people know what happened to this child. I know that without a shadow of a doubt.
So she knows without a shadow of a doubt that people know what happened to this child. Meanwhile, according to law enforcement, they don't know what happened to this child. Sebastian is still missing, and there is no evidence at this point in time. Everything is on the table, including foul play, but there is an open investigation, not a criminal investigation. Once again, misleading her audience, but she's going to continue to do that.
Oh, thank you, Patty, for the gifted membership. God bless you. Karen, you were selected. Congratulations. Welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. The insane asylums. Sebastian deserves better than all the garbage and hate. He does, Michelle. He does. And I'm tired of engaging into it. These people.
Oh yeah, Aries, you're fine. It was weird to me when somebody said that. So I just wanted to mention it to you because I think something got misinterpreted of one of your comments somewhere. So I didn't want that to be something that you had to deal with. If you want to talk to me about it, like, feel free to reach out to me and we can chat. I just didn't want people to say like, or misinterpret your words or anything like that, because I've never seen anything like that. My mods wouldn't allow it. So I wouldn't see that stuff from you.
People are.
But you do fine in here.
They've trashed me. They've trashed everybody that is associated with this case. They think they're better. Like, you got a freaking felon that wants to punch women in the face while they're sitting in a checkout line, ragging on Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like, get the hell out of here, lady.
Who was that? Who was in a checkout line that's a felon ragging on Dog the Bounty Hunter? Who is she talking about? Does anybody know?
You've done hit your crazy train. You sure are tooting your own horn just a little bit, don't you think? Just saying. I about fell over. I'm like, you think you're better than Dog the Bounty Hunter? With your 19 or 20,000 people? I mean, I needed that yesterday. Though. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. This is a missing child among many. Yes, it is. You're right.
I don't know who she's talking about. I don't know who she's saying that somebody was in a checkout line yesterday, ragging on Dog the Bounty Hunter and saying that they wanted to punch people in the face. And supposedly this person's a felon, but I don't even know what the hell she's talking about.
And we've showcased several of those missing children. We have London Kerr. The whole world right now is looking for a 5-year-old child when we only have 2 photos of this child ever even existed. And it was when she was a baby. How do you find somebody when they were a baby? At 5 years old from a toddler? Children change a lot. Children change a lot. And I'm disheartened because it just has a whole bunch of Harmony Montgomery bells going off in my head when I'm reading this story about London. And then, of course, we have Joshua McCoy, which is another story I'm monitoring because I think there's more to that story.
Oh, okay. Revival, thank you. I didn't know that happened either.
And then we had the horrible news today about Waylon Childs in Ormond Beach, Florida. So it's been...
I'm going to speed her back up. She's going to get back into it in a minute, and we've got more clips to play.
A very emotional weekend, to say the least. This is not how I really wanted to start my week out. Of course, we always want to start our week out with, somebody being found or somebody being arrested.
A very emotional weekend. Betty, are you traveling to Tennessee tomorrow? You got a long week ahead of you. Betty's court date is Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
For injustice, finally starting to get underway for some other victim. Those are things that we'd like to see and hear. We don't like seeing and hear cases dragging on for 9 months. We don't like hearing that, a child's been missing for 2 years and nobody knew this child was missing. We don't like hearing that a child was recovered. I mean, we don't like hearing these things, but we do on a daily basis.
We don't like hearing that a child was recovered. No, if you're talking about or implying, that they are deceased or no longer with us, of course, we don't want to hear that, but it's better than having no answers at all. I mean, I would assume that there's the years and years, 20 years of not knowing. I don't know, but what the fuck, Betty?
The world out there is ugly. And, while I was taught my entire life to fear strangers, not one person ever told me I needed to fear the ones that are closest to me. And I think our guard is always down because none of us look inward. We always look outward.
And this is where it pisses me off because trafficking starts usually close to people connected in trusted circles. And she's like, I was never taught. Well, you're also ignorant on a lot.
When we look at threats and threat assessments for our life. And I just want people to understand we need to be teaching our children a little differently than the way I was taught, because I look at strangers sideways, not somebody that could really be hurting me. And I think that we need to start talking about the untalkable, It's different with each kid, but if we do too much in a day, it's hard for my kid to wind down and he's grumpy. Mean a lot, mean LOL. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're finding out, because the first indicator was when Seth had seen the video that was dubbed Proof of Life. He made a very...
All right. This right here. Slowing it down, taking it back. Right here.
If we do too much in a day, it's hard for my kid to wind down, and he's grumpy. Mean a lot. Mean, LOL. Yeah.
Revival, of course she's going to do that.
Exactly. And that's what we're finding out, because the first indicator was when Seth had seen the video that was dubbed Proof of Life. He made a very blatant assessment right at the very beginning that his son did not appear to be his happy-go-lucky self that he would have been with him had they been walking out of dinner. There was already something that Seth had picked up on walking out of that restaurant at 6:30. Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go to Seth's own words. Okay. All right. Betty says that Seth made an assessment. Well, let's hear what Seth had to say, actually.
Station, okay? But go to that GoFundMe if it moves you so. All right? This man is boots on the ground as we speak. So go over there and help if you can. Okay? And we will be talking about volunteers here in just a little bit as well. Okay? Just to give you guys all a heads up if you want to get out there and help search for Sebastian. Now, you went there, you checked out this video. The full scope of this video, what we saw as regular people, okay, the people that are very passionate and really caring and that care about finding Sebastian, the footage that we saw was a cropped video up in the top right-hand corner.
Oh, the lights video.
Of this very big, a much bigger picture.
Yes, sir.
You saw day and night. What else was being said or talked about or shown to you with TBI?
I had requested video proof that my son was alive after I spoke to him on Thursday.
What footage was that?
They showed me footage of him leaving Texas Roadhouse and getting into his mama's vehicle with her.
Texas Roadhouse. So he was getting in a vehicle with Katie Proudfoot from eating at Texas Roadhouse, correct?
Yes.
Was Chris Proudfoot there in the footage?
No. Chris was in Memphis.
Okay, so Chris was definitely in Memphis. Okay.
Whoa, wait a second. Say it ain't so. Chris wasn't there. He was in Memphis, according to Seth.
They showed me footage of him leaving Texas Roadhouse and getting into his mama's vehicle with her.
Texas Roadhouse. So he was getting in a vehicle with Katie Proudfoot from eating at Texas Roadhouse, correct?
Yes.
Was Chris Proudfoot there in the footage?
No. Chris was in Memphis.
Okay, so Chris was definitely in Memphis. Okay. But when you saw them leaving, were they with anybody? Were they alone? Just the two of them going into this car?
Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. Did you see any footage from inside Texas Roadhouse? No.
Okay. They just showed, I wanted proof of life on Sunday to make myself feel better. You guys want to know why I was smiling? That's because yesterday I got to see my son. I mean, it's not current. It's not up to date.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives me a little bit better of a feeling that I got to see him.
No doubt. No doubt. And I can only imagine. So when you saw him walking out of Texas Roadhouse with Katie Proudfoot, his biological mother, was he wearing the same clothes that they're describing that he was last seen in? Okay. Okay. After seeing that footage, I know it made you happy to see him. Of course, you miss your son.
Elizabeth, Seth just said Chris was in Memphis.
I don't know. Was there any interaction, any exchange with Katie, between you and Katie, after seeing this footage?
No.
When was the last time you spoke with Katie before TBI? Before the TBI meeting?
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. Wow. Have you seen them, Chris and Katie Proudfoot, boots on the ground, searching along with you at all? Even at the beginning when you came into town, when you first came into town?
Chris went with me for one night to go check out some leads that were coming off of Facebook, but they were 3 days old, I think. And after that,
oh, there's that pesky little part about them searching together and being in communication in the beginning of this whole thing until a lot of people got involved and started, in my opinion, exploiting Seth and his grief, and he aligned himself with some of the worst of the worst, willing to exploit his grief even further. Yeah, there's that.
No. They say that they're doing it. They say they're out there handing out flyers, putting out signs, getting billboards up, things of that sort. But they're not where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Which, I mean, it kind of, you know, if you got more than one person doing it, it would be, in the grand scheme of things, it would make sense to split up to conquer the area.
Right. It would, wouldn't it?
It would.
So let me ask you. Let's talk about the search that you had with Chris. What was that like? How was the interaction? How was the search with him? Was it awkward?
No, it wasn't. It was not awkward. I was the passenger side. I was the passenger in the truck, and he was driving around. He's familiar with the area a lot more than I am. So he knew from the Facebook tip where to go. And so I just jumped in the truck with him.
Okay. Gotcha. And then that's it. You guys did a search and no strange, no odd interaction. He didn't say anything that would have made, I don't know, spark any kind of red flags or anything of that sort.
No.
Okay. I see. So my question is too, just going back to the TBI meeting, the most recent one you had, aside from those videos, was there any new leads or anything that they told you?
They're not going to tell me. It's an active investigation. They're not going to tell me.
Are you satisfied with their investigation thus far?
That's asking me that question is like asking me if I like the hamburger that I see you cooking. I haven't seen the finished result yet. Finished result is me getting my son back. The sooner we do that, the sooner I'll tell you how happy I am.
Gotcha. I see.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. That does.
I like food.
So do I. So do I. I'm a hell of a cook. We gotta sit down and throw down sometime, my brother. When we finally get to meet.
What's your favorite cuisine?
Well, I'm okay. I make a mean steak. My steak is fire. Okay, bar none.
Now, what do you mean by a mean steak? Do you slice it open in the middle and shove it full of jalapeno?
Well, there's that. Let's go back to Betty. I just want you to remember what was actually said compared to what Betty is claiming now.
And that's what people keep, forgetting about, is that we do have a parent that is talking. We do have a parent that is telling us how their child is functioning. And we have idiots on YouTube that dismiss the father. Like, the father would know this child better than some third party that's over in God knows where, Timbuktu, talking about the case, So I just really think that people need to start opening their ears instead of their minds and start listening to the words that are coming out of the people's mouths that have the information. If you
opening their ears instead of their minds and listening to things, but that's what we were doing. That's what we were just doing. You told us that Seth said something about Sebastian, and we went and looked at what Seth actually said about Sebastian in the Texas Roadhouse. That's what we're doing. And come to find out, you're once again misinforming people, painting narratives with misinformation. Say it ain't so, but you're butthurt. Your words, not mine. You're butthurt at the disinformation and misinformation that people are putting out here. Meanwhile, you're one of the biggest sources of that. The team has been one of the biggest sources of that. You say you work alone, but there was unity and standing in solidarity and my friend and all of that too. Like, can you pick a lane and stay in it? Because all of us are getting whiplash from the bullshit.
to quit trying to figure out what is trying to be said by the parents and just listen, you might be a little shocked. Quite frankly. Quit trying to make excuses for the statements and just listen to the statements. The statements are what they are.
They are.
And then you got
what they
some
are.
third party that has never even talked to the family, doesn't know anybody in the family, and is saying.
Let's look at another one of those statements. This happens to be on March 28th from Caitlin Miller. Let's do another one of those. Shall we? Let's listen to another one of Seth, his own words. That's what Betty's encouraging us to do. Let's do it.
A month since your son went missing. How are you feeling today?
Same as I was yesterday. Just continuing the search, continue looking. I'm not going to give up. Nobody can make me give up.
And where have you been searching? Where do you think he is?
I've been searching everywhere. I mean, anything out of that 5 mile radius that the initial search did, they covered everything there. But there's stuff elsewhere. I mean, we got a lot of territory to cover. And it being over a month, he could be anywhere currently. So I'm searching everywhere.
You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Any progression that might show hope in this search?
Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me.
And how confident are you that Sebastian is alive, and what do you think he's doing right now?
Pretty sure he's probably playing video games somewhere. Nobody's letting him, whoever's got him, they're not letting him see the regular news. They're not letting him surf the internet. Or else he'd know that I'm looking for him. And he'd know that he should actually be trying to get a hold of me. And that keeps me going.
Is there a strong reason to believe he may have been abducted?
I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just, over at a friend's house. Never know. But
So even Seth's own word says he doesn't know what happens. We're doing what Betty suggested we did.
I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
And other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course, it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash. That's just false information provided by a particular person.
He is suggesting Nick Barris, which again, people have continued to say that the lights aren't a trash truck. There's no way because of the time being stuck at 3 something in the morning. Again, that was a highly selected portion of a bigger video. We don't know what the time actually was of the video because he says it was stuck later on in other videos. We don't know if it has any evidentiary value. Law enforcement has said, Eric Craddock has actually said that it didn't have any evidentiary value at that time, but it might down the road, and they wouldn't go further into it. But one thing that I continue to push back on is people continue to say it wasn't a trash truck. There's no way it was a trash truck. Well, if they have all this access to the neighbors and the neighbors' camera footage, why aren't they just coming out and showing when the trash truck actually went through and debunking that? Why aren't they using ring camera footage that they're telling us? Betty says that they've seen videos from other neighbors and so on and so forth. Why aren't these neighbors providing and debunking that? If it wasn't a trash truck, why don't we have all these videos showing when the trash truck actually went through to debunk that video? They won't do that though.
Did the dogs ever pick up a scent for Sebastian?
From my information that I've been given, no.
Did they find anything on Sebastian's cell phone that would, kind of show that he was going to run away or where he might be?
Not that I know of. He didn't have any internet access or anything on there. He would have been able to call, text, take a picture, send a picture, use the calculator. That's about it.
Was Sebastian in school on Friday, the day before he went missing?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you, Chris, or Katie, or any of you suspects in this case?
No, we're not.
Have you been cleared?
I don't know. The investigation is still ongoing. We wouldn't be cleared until the investigation is done. But
Oh, wait, is that Seth on March 28th saying that they're not suspects and that they won't be cleared until the investigation's over?
currently, from my understanding, they don't have any information that would attach us to any wrongdoing.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation.
Autumn, I don't either. I don't think any of the parents are involved. Truthfully, we have no evidence to indicate that any of the parents are involved. Again, law enforcement has said all parents have been cooperative and their stories have been vetted. So there's that. And none of us know where Sebastian is. And none of us are going to be the ones to find Sebastian. But all the noise that is created and the stories that have been spun and the noise here of Betty and the rewrites of the, it's just too much. It's too much. And here's all this.
How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint physical custody.
NJ Robin, this is from March 28th.
Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Podcast.
And I mean, does that concern you, especially with this case, that they might have done something to cause him to run away?
I don't know what that really means, but I just know that I don't have all the information.
Is there an official timeline? And I know people, there was, we went to bed at this hour, but does TBI or anyone have an official timeline as to the series?
I'm pretty sure they do, but I'm not involved in the investigation, so I wouldn't have it.
Have the three of you been in contact every day like you were several weeks ago about this?
I was in contact with both Katie and Chris today, but I've heard he said his phone is open and available.
So March 28th, they were still having communication.
So is mine. You can leave a voicemail. Like 7 or 8 people have already left me voicemails today. I'm going. I get people calling me while I'm on the phone, and it's like, I can't just sit there and...
Did you catch that? For those of you asking where this interview is from, let me do that again, just to make sure you guys catch that. Caitlin Miller, Fox 17. That's where this is from, March 28th. In case you wanted, I see that some people asking.
Answer the phone for everybody. If I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of my house.
There's been a lot of criticism over this investigation. I'm sure you've received criticism as well as the Proudfoots. How does that make you feel in a time where you're just trying to find your son?
People are being,
Nightster 15. I don't know what your name actually is. We don't know. None of us know. Law enforcement obviously doesn't know either. Otherwise, Sebastian would be home, correct? Right now, we have no idea. Everything is open on the table. Foul play isn't suspected, but it's on the table. It's an open investigation, not a criminal investigation. There's no evidence. Nothing. FBI has offered up to a $50,000 reward, and that's basically all we know. But they continue to push these narratives that Seth needs to be cleared. He knows and knew early on in March that he wouldn't even be cleared, but he wasn't considered a suspect either. Law enforcement has vetted their stories, their alibis. They've been cooperative, and that's where we stand.
Well, that goes back to those keyboard warriors I talked about.
And very likely, Lauren, that's a very good possibility. There could be nobody involved. Sebastian could have walked out of the home on his own and succumbed to the elements, or something tragic might have happened to. There could be all sorts of potential of other things.
From the first interview that you and I had, they're still at it. They'll never stop. There's cowards in this world, and then there's people who are go-getters. My feet, they're on the ground.
They need to get off all of them, not just Chris and Katie. Law enforcement has stated time and time again, especially in the April 12th video, April 12th, when they did the TBI and the Sumner County, Eric Craddock did their press conference. I can pull that if you want me to, if you haven't seen that one. They have said people need to be careful of the online sleuths and the misinformation being spread on the internet. But they have talked about over and over again about how the parents' stories have been vetted, and they've been cooperative. all this noise that has been created by people. There's been no change in this case since February. Nothing has changed.
They're never going to leave the ground. I'm going to find my son.
Even as
Period.
And plans, today on moving forward, any more resources being used on this investigation, or anything you have to say about that?
The United Cajun Navy is currently sitting down there right now at 90 Volunteer Drive in Hendersonville. 10:30. That's when volunteers need to show up. 10:30. Show up, have your ID, sign the paperwork, and they send people out in teams.
Sean, I think both things can still be true. I think he is taken advantage of. I think his emotional state and, complete grief, I guess you would call it, has been exploited by people like T-Rev and those that attach themselves. Yes, we know that Seth reached out and made contact with people like JLR, T-Rev, and asked them to get involved. He said that he, followed them before on previous things. So he made contact with them, but I think their willingness to exploit him and help push narratives really intensified. I think both things are true. I think he helped that and has used all of the ways to re-victimize and continue the abuse of Katie. And I think he's also being abused at the same time by the people that have surrounded themselves with him. I think both are true.
You show up, there ain't nobody there except for a couple people. That's because they've already sent teams out. They're just going to keep sending teams out until we find my son.
Have there been a lot of volunteers coming out to help find Sebastian?
Kim, and that was intentional from jump. She got involved willingly. She came out, helped paint narratives, and then they continued in the background, recording calls, doing things to try and help her with her custody case, releasing recorded phone calls on the day of custody hearings and so on. It was definitely intentional and extremely messy. But I think it also goes to show the long-term custody battles and the back and forth in the homes and things of that nature too.
Today there was, and I want to thank everybody who did come out. We're seeing an increase, and we're going to continue to see an increase. I'd like the whole state of Tennessee to volunteer, and then we'll hit other states.
And you're Sebastian's father. Tell me, what is Sebastian like?
He's a unique child. All right. It's really hard to describe my son. Besides being unique.
But they didn't have a problem, and they haven't drug him all over the place for, I guess he didn't use the term goofy, he used unique. But they've had such a fit about Chris and Katie using terms like that, but all he can say is he's unique. And that's acceptable, though, by the team, right? It's just the noise that has been created. I agree with you on that, too. I'm sure, I can't even imagine being in all of these situations. Sure, Wani, go ahead. Ask away. I'm paused right now, so I'll wait until your question comes in before I replay. Hey, Beth. Yeah, Tebow, absolutely. I think that is the situation we see. And I think he is one of those personalities. There was enough resentment, I think, underlying as is. We see things. There's never going to be a perfect situation. Divorces are messy. Custody hearings are messy. Things of that nature are messy. People are just trying to do their best. And I think in a situation like this, there's never going to be a perfect outcome. And I'm sure a part of me feels bad too, because I can't imagine being in that position and not, there's, I think, natural instinct to try and blame the other one. Yeah. October of 2023 was when he was diagnosed with autism. He was diagnosed with a 6q27 chromosomal deletion syndrome in the first year of birth. Was that your only question? October of 23 was when he was diagnosed with autism. but he was diagnosed with the 6q27 chromosomal deletion syndrome, I think within the first year of birth. I can't remember the exact months of that. Hey, MK. Hey, Thor. Hey, T. Was that your only question? I'll carry on and I'll try to watch for your comments.
Whether he's up to no good or he's up to good, he's just got that uniqueness about him. It's really hard to describe. I mean, he's my mini. If he has a goal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If that's the case, why do they push the narrative that he's not normal? Beth's words. Because of ignorance, complete ignorance. He had medical, like he would be considered medically complex, as is because of the chromosomal deletion, and it's just ignorance at its finest. What is normal? I mean, that's just an ignorant statement of Betty as is. But
he's going to accomplish that goal. You know, people at school, they liked him. All the kids are wanting to know when he's going to come back. They want to help and volunteer. Teachers are they're putting out prayers every day. You know, everybody, it's coming up. It's Easter. I'm hoping for an Easter miracle. You know, I could definitely use it in my life right now.
And why did they search the landfill?
I have no idea. They didn't. Not part of the investigation. They're not going to tell me stuff. I am emotionally attached, as any parent should be.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
If I call them all the time. Call, text, hey, any new news? They either let me know or they let me know.
Are you happy with the work that all these agencies have done, or do you think there needs to be more?
There could probably always be more. We just got to figure out what more is necessary. Am I happy with them? I'm not unhappy. But you asked me that after my son's back, and it's going to be, I'm happy. All right.
I think that's normal for parents of a missing child or a tragedy to be unhappy with the response because it's obviously not turning out to find Sebastian. So I think there's always going to be a disconnect between parents and law enforcement agencies. That's just my personal opinion, because no matter what is done, I mean, as a parent, it would never seem like enough because the child, there's no answers. So I think that's a normal upset too. But he obviously, you know, he was happy with their response. He talked about law enforcement in the beginning. It was when people started to really get involved in this case, the noise creators, that the disregard of law enforcement really started, in my opinion. Hold on. I saw another question up here. Sorry, I'm trying to bounce back and forth, but I'm also. Yes, we absolutely. Yes. We actually, you know, one thing I have taken away from this, and I had this conversation with somebody close to me, is we really do not know much about Sebastian. Yes, we've heard things here and there, but I think it would be very beneficial to do an interview of just Sebastian. What are his medical needs? What are behaviors that somebody might see from him, you know, voice changes, like specific things about Sebastian, I think would be very helpful. But I also think the medical complexities might be because we just don't know where he's at or what, you know, anything. And so anything to help people identify, or if he was ever to need medical care and he is out there somewhere, what they might see. I mean, there's just, yeah.
Right. Because in law enforcement, it's always goal oriented, you know. Go to work, put a smile on your face, get the job done.
So again, factually speaking, Night Star 15, Seth sent 6 C&Ds out in the beginning of this, 3 to local creators in the area, and then 3 off of that. A few of them, like CJ, Clue, Chloe, I think Chloe got one. Am I correct on that? A few of them had actually been on the ground searching. So that was the first batch. There was 6 in there. It was a little weird who he chose and why they got them. I couldn't tell you the specifics. But then this new C&D that was sent to barbecue was for something polar opposite. And now the filing, they're not asking people to stop talking about Sebastian or Sebastian's case. What they're claiming, or in the filing, is the complaint says that they want people to stop threatening and interfering with the investigation into the disappearance and defaming Seth. They don't want people to stop talking about Sebastian, but that's what the filing or the injunction request is for, the complaint is for. It's a little confusing, but none of us are really sure. I mean, yeah, I couldn't answer that 100% factually because I don't know the rhyme or reason. There's been many different reasons given.
I know that they're putting their effort, 150% effort into this. And I appreciate that. And I'm hoping it will pay off with fruition.
Do you think Katie and Chris are suspects?
I have no idea.
Sebastian's been missing for more than a month now. What keeps you getting up every morning, going out and searching for him?
Being a dad, having perseverance, wanting him to come home, wanting to watch him finish growing up.
Do you wear this every day? Talk to me about this shirt.
This right here is my own billboard to find my son. People notice people. People notice what people are wearing. So I am a walking handout. I have these in my car.
How do you select that photo? It's so cute.
Because it's cute. It's got a smile. It's the last picture I took of him.
His smile is very
Standing there.
Okay, so let's go back to Betty now once again. But these are some of the things that were stated. Like, a lot of the noise that's been created has been off of speculation, rumor, and no information. So there's been a lot of room for people to grab onto salacious details and run with them as fact. And there's just not.
Oh, well, this is what this means. And no, it's not. It's just not. Trust me, I'm very well educated.
Never say never. According to his own statements, yes, that would have ended in March. Has he done others since then? We don't know. Again, I'm not there with eyes on these people or, know their every movement. So factually speaking, yes, it would have been March according to his words. But again, what is actually going on is up in the air.
Educated when it comes to this subject. KP said he had a great day though. Yeah, she's also the last person that saw this child. And she's also the one that said that, I mean, you're talking about a person that can't explain why her child's missing either. So you're going to take her statements over anybody else's. Is that really an educated position to have? Is it really an educated position to have? Because I'm telling you, when somebody is the last person that saw somebody, I'm very critical of every statement that comes out of their mouth. Because why? Statistics tell me they may have something seriously to do with the disappearance. Why? Because statistics don't lie. We may lie. Statistics don't lie. So I don't know. I don't know if that statement runs together. Sorry. I just don't. Usually my mom likes it when I sing, but this morning he told me, my son, usually my son likes it when I sing, but he told me this morning I was too loud. It was overstimulating. Yeah, well, I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah. Certain things people get twisted. Listening just on my way to the doctor's, I'm just not shaking this pneumonia. Oh, I'm so sorry, Steffers. We'll feel better. And of course, the cold weather is probably to you already. Karen says, yes, his father did think it was a lot for Sebastian to be doing. He did think it could have affected him. Yeah, exactly. It was fairly new diagnosis. Many kids don't get overstimulated like that because that it becomes kind of a trope.
Knight, you just asked a question about why would Seth allow this. I'm going to take you back to a reminder of something this was said on Betty's interview with Seth Rogers on May 30th, 2024, when Betty did her first interview shortly after getting involved as part of the team. This was when she began to become part of the team. She had been in communication with Tony up until this point, and this was her first exclusive interview. But I want to remind you, you just asked, why would he allow this? Well, this was also said on this live stream.
No.
Okay. Well, thank you for being
And the
honest.
one thing I believe that would absolutely bring my son home is some good 70s detective work.
Shoe leather.
May be unethical now, but it sure would work in this case.
A little bit of waterboarding, maybe.
You know, you're not the first person that said that.
I'm telling you, people, I'm barbaric. I mean, I'm a barbaric woman when it comes to the crime and punishments and stuff like that. I'm an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth type of girl. There's no middle of the road for
I
me.
was raised Old Testament. In the end, we all are blind and justice is blind.
Mm-hmm. Criminal Gossiper says,
your question is I don't have the answers, but it's been all in on crazy statements since Betty came aboard.
Hopefully.
And not just Betty. It's been a progressive situation.
Is that right? Karen from the UK, BHP is great at her job, yet the only one being punished for it. Yeah, go figure. Personally, I believe that no parent is involved. I don't know how. A child, if you have autistic.
She is really upset at this comment about no parent being involved because it goes against what she has been saying.
That no parent is involved. I don't know how. A child, if you have autistic children, I don't know if your child is an eloper or not an eloper, but you just think that and I don't know if your child puts on his shoes or doesn't put on his shoes. But for me, I'm a behavior.
Oh, Steph, 100%.
Behaviors person. You guys know I do behaviors. I've been doing behaviors for years. And
she does behaviors. She's been doing behaviors for years. Yeah, we've seen a pretty good display of your behaviors, Betty.
An autistic child, I'm learning, does not change their behaviors. I don't think that you are going to wake up, just my opinion.
An autistic child does not change their behaviors. The ignorance, the complete and pure ignorance.
One day and your child be doing things differently than he's ever done the last 10 years. Okay? But we're supposed to believe.
Autism is a spectrum. It varies from person to person, situation to situation, but this is pure ignorance. And those of you that know and are parents or yourself has autism, you understand how ignorant this is.
That this child just woke up in the middle of the night and did things he's never done before in his life. It does not make sense. And I really, truly don't believe. I think you are just trying. I'm sorry. I just really believe you're pushing this issue to the point of just unbelievable. Because you're sitting here telling me on one hand.
You're pushing it to the point of unbelievable, really. Well, you openly told us you know nothing about autism.
And you have an autistic child. And on the other hand, that you believe autistic children just stop being autistic and change their behaviors.
I doubt that person believes that somebody just stops being autistic.
Those two things don't go together.
Oh.
They just don't. I'd like you to show me where they do.
This is why it's important for many families to have access to rehabilitation programs such as, never mind, I'm not even going into it. This is just pure fucking blatant ignorance.
I think that you're incorrect. I think you are on the wrong side of this, but I'm not.
And BJ, I'm going to call your ass out right here since you had a lot to say about me this morning. This is your team member. This is your team member. How can you stand by your team member spewing all this bullshit? You're standing with unity with this person, in solidarity with this person. How can you stand beside this person and be okay with all this? Tell me.
I'm not going to try to change your mind. You're going to have your opinion. No matter-
You wanted an answer from me. I gave you 3 hours of answers of why I'm sick of your bullshit and what you do to victims and their families and the shit you condone. There's a simple answer I'm sure you can give me. How do you condone this shit and the ignorance that she says about people on the spectrum?
no matter how you have your opinion, but I just don't, I don't, one of two things is not true. And you either don't have an autistic child and trying to act like you do and trying to make sense of all this, or you have an autistic child, don't believe what's coming out of your mouth. But you can't say that you have an autistic child and you believe that their behavior is just one day going to wake up and change.
Oh, Jesus, take the fucking wheel. Take the fucking wheel. New behaviors appear. Behaviors change. Situation changes, environmental changes, hormone changes, medication changes. I mean, there's many things that attribute to it, but carry on.
So it's unbelievable to me. I absolutely believe that there was something that happened to this child. Because at the end of
And you can't do that stuff because each individual, like we will all have different like things that we recognize or things that we've heard about him. None of us truly know. Like me and one of my friends both have children on the spectrum, and we can't identify anything really like very surface level, like things that are similar to like anime. My child loves anime. A lot of kids love anime. It doesn't mean anything. Situations like that, but there is a lot of projecting a lot from that because of people like Betty and her bullshit.
At the end of the day, we can watch and look at TBI and they find lost people all the time. However, the ones that they're not finding are the ones that are most likely not lost. Even their search areas and stuff are statistically drawn. Statistically drawn. Again, statistics don't lie.
Oh my God, you don't even know how to fucking use those statistics in this situation properly, but carry on. It's your word of the week, I see. What are the statistics of people going to jail for 6 violations of protection order, I wonder?
So, and then you couple this weird situation with constant inconsistencies from 2 people. These are red flags. I don't understand how somebody in the true crime, I bet you if you remove the mom and remove the son dynamic and you put a husband and a wife, I guarantee your opinion of this whole story would change. Unless it's just because you don't want to agree with Bullhorn Betty's opinion.
Well, that's going to change the entire circumstance around the case. This is why it's so important to talk about each and individual. Oh my God. Like, what is she doing? You can't just completely switch it up from 2 adults to, oh, Betty, like that. Did she really just say that? Did she really just fucking say that shit? She did. I got to hear that again.
Situation with constant inconsistencies from 2 people. These are red flags. I don't understand how somebody in the true crime, I bet you if you remove the mom and remove the son dynamic and you put a husband and a wife, I guarantee your opinion of this whole story would change. Unless it's just because you don't want to agree with Bullhorn Betty's opinion.
No, actually, let's talk about that because, again, if we're going by law enforcement, my opinion wouldn't change. We still wouldn't know the facts of the case because there's no evidence of anything. So I would still say that they're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, or there was some sort of evidence or a criminal investigation. If there was no evidence and it's an open investigation, I still wouldn't be saying that they're guilty of something without them being guilty of something. But the whole fucking scenario that you just gave would completely change. Again, you can't compare. Like, what the fuck, Betty?
And so everything has to be opposite of Bullhorn Betty, which is what some of these hate channels do.
Oh my God, no.
Because they're stealing a victim's voice to try to punish me, which they ain't doing it because I produce numbers.
You're stealing a victim's voice. You are stealing a victim's voice with misinforming your audience of the facts of this case and creating nothing but noise in a you situation because you're being punished for your behaviors.
Far exceeding theirs. And that's what they hate. Because for them, these cases are about numbers. For me, these cases are about the victim.
Oh, yeah, sure, Betty. Yeah, okay.
Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has got to start being the focus of these searches. And we can't start looking for a kid.
But she just told us in the beginning of this, she wants to highlight Seth and all the good he's done and At Night Media and Dog. Like, what the fuck, Betty?
Unless we look into ground zero, okay? And everybody that was around this child and what their behaviors are. And without assessing their behaviors and what's normal and customary to them, it's going to be hard to find out what is not normal and customary to them, or if they went outside their normal and customary behavior. Yes, a child can be doing something that you wouldn't expect.
Just my opinion. I'm sorry that was you that she was talking to like this morning.
My daughter does. Okay, I'm done with you. You're going to make excuses no matter what I say. Because your opinion doesn't bode with 100 other parents that have autistic children. I just want to let you know that. You're kind of the black sheep over here.
You're a black sheep because your experience is different than what Betty and her ignorance is saying. Okay. Makes
because
sense.
Right now we have 523 people, and I guarantee at least 100 of the people watching have autistic children, and not one of them agree with your assessment. River Bradford right here. She's autistic. She's autistic. She's helped me with a lot of understanding.
Because every one of those 100 is going to have different experiences, different needs, different baselines. But some of them are going to align in certain, oh my God. Oh, shut up.
Autism. We actually have people that are here on this show that are in the audience that are autistic that disagree with you, in my opinion. So I'm going to, instead of worrying about your opinion, which is ignorant to me, I'm going to listen to all of these other people that have more experience.
Oh, so now it's more experience because your experience differs from what she is trying to push, that it's inexperience. Oh, wow. From somebody that knows nothing about autism. Okay, I got you, Betty.
Because no matter what I say, you're going to argue with it. And that tells me you come straight from the hate channels. I'm not arguing with anybody whatsoever. I'm just giving another example of autistic children. That doesn't bode with any other autistic child or example. I'm really starting to believe you do not have an autistic child. That's my assessment of you.
So now, because it doesn't align with Betty's ignorance, you don't have a child with autism. Okay, I see what she's doing here. First, it was based on you don't have enough experience, and now it's I fucking cannot. I can't believe she said this out loud. Well, I can. Actually, I can.
That's my assessment of you. I don't believe you have an autistic child. So.
Because it doesn't agree with Betty's narrative. Isn't that ironic? Betty's trying to say that behaviors don't change ever. Somebody on the spectrum, their behaviors never change. They couldn't choose to walk out of the house. They couldn't choose to do those things. And if it doesn't align with that thinking, you can't have a child on the spectrum. Well, my child on the spectrum, I can only speak from my experience because each of us are experts in our own children because every child is different on the spectrum. You can have two in the same household and have completely different behaviors and needs. But sure, okay. Well, my child who typically chooses to get up at 6:30 this morning got up at 4:30 this morning. I guess that's because it's out of her typical. It's not something we can do though, right? Okay.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think you need to pray. That's what I think you need to do. I think you need to pray, and I think you need to unplug from the hate channels, personally speaking. Betty, I got 88.
You evil fucking bitch. You need to pray because your line of thinking doesn't go along with Betty's ignorance on autism. You need to pray. How dare you not be an expert in your own child's? Oh my God.
HD, I'm 53. I love you very much. Oh, thank you, Rod. I appreciate that. Do I keep your attention? You hang around, so I must have the ADHD sauce.
She has the
so now your story's changed. So they don't have more experience than me. I've worked for charities for over 20 years. My daughter is currently sat next to me. She laughs and she said, "Send them a photo to you." Well, then send me a photo.
Please don't send her a photo.
Since you think it's a joke.
Please don't.
Since you think a 15-year-old missing is a joke, send me the photo. I think you're a disruptor.
How did this turn into you think a 15-year-old missing child is a joke?
I think you're a gaslighter, and I don't think you know a damn thing what you talk about. Furthermore, I think you keep pushing that goalpost. Send me your information. I'll look into it. If I'm wrong, I'll publicly state I'm wrong, but I guarantee.
Please do not do that. Please do not do that.
I'm probably not wrong. I'd like to see your work 20 years in this and have these type of statements, because I'm telling you, I know for a fact the people that do have 20 years totally go in opposite of what you're saying.
Oh, that's not true, Betty. That's not true. Betty, do you know what habilitation is? Do you know what habilitation goals are? Do you know what respite services are? Do you know what attendant care is? Do you know any type of ABA anything? Do you know any type of anything?
And those are people that I know have the credentials. Without a doubt. Like I've seen them. I know who they are.
Okay.
It's undisputed. And they don't bode with you. You go to Nancy Grace and listen to her experts that go up there that talk.
Oh, that's okay.
About autism and being on the spectrum. Don't bode with your 20 years. And they're experts in the field. Like I can literally list off. Like I'd like to know who you are because I think you're full of shit, quite frankly. But you've taken enough of my time. Please don't ever come back to this channel. I don't believe you. Period. I don't believe you. I'll unblock you when you produce me the information that you say you're going to produce me. And if you don't produce it to me, don't come back to this channel.
Do not, please. I beg of you, do not. I mean, you're an adult going to do what you want, but please don't send her your information. You don't need to prove anything, especially when it comes to your child's. Please do not. For the privacy and dignity of your own child, please do not send Betty any of that information.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I just have to ask, why isn't there searches going on right now and haven't been, not with all the public coming together and trying to find Sebastian? Well, a lot of the reasons why the searches.
I'm going to have to tell Alana tonight the things she's incapable of doing. Maybe I'll fucking record her response to all the things she's incapable of doing and just get audio only for you guys, because I have a feeling she'd have a few fucking things to say. Probably first off the top is, who's that idiot? That would probably be, that's not usually a changed behavior. She's pretty blunt usually, and she usually thinks people that are ignorant are idiots. So that's probably more than likely what she'd say. Who's the idiot?
Died down is because the mom and stepdad hired people to distract and, intimidate people.
Right, Seth?
The stepfather himself went out there and yelled at a bunch of volunteers.
Chasing, you probably got one too that would probably know that you can't have any new behaviors. I'm sure they would love to hear all these things.
Every person that's ever tried to help the stepfather has ran off. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because, according to Sumner County, we're not allowed to do any background information on these people. Otherwise, we're considered stalking them because we're keeping it on our channel and doing our job. We're considered stalking by this idiot. So
that's not what you're considered stalking for, Betty.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how.
You went a little bit further than pulling backgrounds on people. You drove from Florida to Tennessee to keep them under surveillance, drive by their house, jump up out of traffic or in the middle of traffic, excuse me, and verbally assault an elderly man. You went on their property to hang a missing flyer, like they don't know their child's missing. You went through the neighborhood. You went by the grandparents. Come on, Betty, shut up.
How we're supposed to find a kid when we're not allowed to search the last people that were with him or look into the last people that were with him.
You're not law enforcement. You have no ability to do what law enforcement does, Betty.
So you know what? Dog, which has a lot more back than me, is there. I'd be careful because a month later they might come and arrest Dog.
He's probably not there. He was in Tennessee for a wedding of his child.
I don't trust this county. I think they're corrupt. I think that they're not following the law. And I think that they're doing things to outsiders that they wouldn't do to their own citizens, which again is another constitutional issue.
I don't know,
You're
Sean.
decent, don't swear like those others. You're respectful by covering 36,000 subs. We all want the truth. That's at the end of the day, that's what we want. We all want the truth. And we don't want people sitting there lying to us about who they are, which happens.
Oh my God. Okay, I gotta speed her up. I can't do this. This is, oh my God. She is so ignorant. Oh.
My opinion, I think, told me she was an attorney at one point. I mean, God knows. I mean, literally, In My Opinions has been on here for quite some time, and every other day she's an expert in something. So I'm just getting so confused with how many hats In My Opinions actually has, you know?
What the fuck?
My own father was a corrupt cop. I haven't seen him since my sister's funeral. Aw. Don't be fooled. Betty has a cuss jar. Cash reminds everybody. I do have a cuss jar. I haven't pulled it out in a while.
Cash, you naughty one.
But I haven't been cussing as much. I've been working really, really hard on my foul language. You know why? Because I watch these hate channels and it makes me cringe. And I'm like, I don't want to be that. That's disgusting to me. You know, I want to present a good image for this channel. I want to do good for these victims. And I want to get.
Chasing, do you think she'd even be able to understand HAB goals? I could send her pages of HAB goals for different behaviors and different things that we work on, and she would probably be like, what's that? Wait, you have to do that 7 times a week? Wait, you practice so they can overcome behaviors or become accustomed to things? Like, what does that mean? She'd probably sit there dumbfounded and not, I don't understand.
Get them out as far as possible, far and wide as possible. And I want to do it without the BS of these hate channels because they can't make it unless they talk about somebody else. They can't talk about the victims. They can only stir up drama and cause chaos. And I'm glad the world is finally seeing what they have been doing and what I have been sitting here preaching on my pedestal for quite some time.
You're definitely not on a pedestal, and that's all you've been doing this entire time is using misinformation to create narratives and spin stories. But yeah, okay. Again, I go back to, if it's not the ultimate hate channel to target the parents of a missing child off of misinformation, I don't know what is.
And now they're starting to do it to people that can actually stop it from happening. So they should have stopped while they were ahead. But they're going to wait until the whole entire drama community is brought to its knees before they realize what they're doing is wrong.
The whole entire drama community is brought to their knees by what? Your frivolous filing?
Poor Sebastian thought he was just really being loved. On by family, starting with bragging up on FaceTime about spaghetti pancakes, fun-filled day, and it was all for optics, for Ellie, set up for Sebastian, in my opinion. Yeah, there's definitely something there. I don't know. I just want this stuff to get the drama to be out of it. I'm sick and tired of people always trying to find excuses for this mom and stepdad or dad not having any excuses for where their son is, and they can't explain how this child did what he did. All they can do is accuse people of harassing them for questioning.
Maybe they just can't explain what he did. Maybe they just can't figure out why he walked out of the home. Maybe they just can't. You know, shit like that does happen, Betty.
For questioning. And it's really upsetting because Sebastian deserves to be broadcasted in the best light possible. And he's not. And it's a direct result of these hate channels doing what they do. And
it's all about the hate channels. Meanwhile, you're not doing anything to help, are you?
Direct result of the drama being more important to YouTube than victims. That's what the saddest part about it is, you know, but smoke and mirrors on their part is just that, you know, their numbers suck. I mean, they think about it. If we had this room filled up with 1,000 people for an hour, we would have literally 20,000 views on this channel, right? They have their.
Huh? If we had this room filled up, wait, did she just math and fail at that? Or am I failing at that? Did she just say 1,000 people for an hour would be 20,000 views?
They think about it. If we had this room filled up with 1,000 people for an hour, we would
1,000 people for an hour.
have literally 20,000 views on this channel.
Oh God. She can't even math. She can't even fucking math, Betty. Oh, Betty. Oh, Betty.
Right? They have their channels filled up with 1,000 people the entire time, and they're barely scraping 9,000 views. Something ain't right there. I'm just saying, something ain't right there.
Because some of us don't use his name in the title of our videos. We don't use hashtags to push things unless it's really important. I've done it a couple times. Otherwise, I don't do that. That's why. And I'm okay with that.
So it appears that they got a lot of support when they really don't. It's a tiny little echo chamber of people. That's it. That have the need to feel liked by a creator. We're an accepting group. We just don't like boneheads. That's all. We don't like stupidity. We think outside of the box. But at some point, people need to start thinking for themselves as well.
You think way outside the box, like 1 + 1 = 4. That's the type of box you think outside.
Thank you, Pebbles. Don't forget to sign. If you have not signed the change.org, please consider doing that. We're trying to get the FBI to take over the investigation. And hopefully when we get enough signatures, maybe Sumner County will step away and let the FBI do their job. Obviously.
We're back to the FBI thing again. Oh my God. The FBI has been involved from the start. They're not the lead investigative agency. They've not been asked to be the lead. They offered a $50,000 reward. But if you go back to when they offered the reward, Betty was telling us that Seth had been working hand in hand with the FBI all along to produce that reward. So which is it?
Everybody on this case, like we've already lost Major Tim Bailey. He's retired. He didn't care about Sebastian. He wanted his retirement over the need to find out what happened to this child. And he had a lot of good service. And I got to say, when I talked to him, he made me feel very confident that things were going right and that they were working around the clock. He was the only officer, the only person that put that in my mind that they were working on this. Now that he's gone, I don't know. Honestly, I really don't. It's very scary to think that Sebastian is out there somewhere and there's hardly anybody really looking for him but his father, and who his father can continue looking for him, that actually has thick enough skin to deal with all the harassment that they've underwent at the hands of these creators that were hired by, the mom and the stepfather.
Oh, now she's saying that these people were hired. Ooh, Betty. Oh, no, she did not just do that. Betty, do you have proof that they've been hired? Do you have receipts? A thing we call receipts? Oh, let's listen to that in real time. No, she did not.
And there's hardly anybody really looking for him but his father, and who his father can continue looking for him, that actually has thick enough skin to deal with all the harassment that they've underwent at the hands of these creators that were hired by, the mom and the stepfather.
She just did, hired by the mom and the stepfather. Oof, Nada Fida. That defamation is growing.
There's not a whole lot of people that are willing to put their reputation on the line to help out. You saw a lot of people with a lot of big names back off this case because they don't want the drama. And so that tells me right there, they're not in it for the victims. The people that can deal with the drama are here for the victims. I can tell you that. Nobody would go through this shit right here unless they were here for the victims. Trust me, I ain't making that much money. Okay.
Oh, of course, it's got to go back to her and not making much. Oh, this is cringe.
I'm definitely not making more money than the hate channels. I can
But
guarantee
I love
that.
it.
And you can understand why it's so frustrating that hate pays. And that's what the problem is. They are being paid very handsomely to cause all these distractions and to cause all these problems. And that
The hate of riddle me this. How does she not understand that what her narrative is and what her storyline is on her channel is targeting the parents of missing children? That is her baseline. With evidence, without evidence, it doesn't matter. She picks a side and targets the parents of a missing child to shove a narrative, most of the time without factual evidence to back it up. How is that not hate? How is hate not paying your bills, Betty? That is exactly how you make your living, is by hating the parents going through their worst times, victims going through their worst times.
That has got to stop. That has got to stop. So, yeah, it's just, it is what it is. But Sebastian has got to be front and center. So this is
from this morning.
I'd like to do. I'd like to challenge everybody.
Oh, we got
to
a
send
challenge.
me an email.
We got a challenge. Let's hear it in full display. I'll shut up. We got a challenge from the old Betster.
Sebastian has got to be front and center. So this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to challenge everybody to send me an email about what you think will help refocus this case and get this case back to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Okay, the lawsuit's going to go forward regardless because what they've done to Nick, what they've done to Dog, what they've done to Seth, and what they've done to Tony is disgusting. I've dealt with it for 3 years. Okay, I'm not as appalled with it today as I was when it was happening to me.
Where's the challenge? By the way, there's nothing, no movement, no court date, no nothing with the filing in Pennsylvania, what she's referencing. Okay.
At the beginning, it's getting kind of old. But
Where's
these
the
other
challenge?
people, they have the ability to do something about it, and they're doing something about it.
Okay.
And that's going to go forward. So saying to cancel, that's not going to happen. That's moving forward. It's going to go through the court systems. It's already a done deal. Okay.
Okay, it's already a done deal. It's filed and there's been no movement. All right.
But we need to find a way to get this back to Sebastian and away from the case at hand. We know that this was brought on by very good reasons for people that aren't completely soggy in the brain, know that what these people were going through wasn't right and they didn't deserve it. They're trying to help find and locate a boy while these people sit on their ass and do nothing but condemn and mock everybody that's been trying to help.
Meanwhile, there's been zero proof or evidence of any threats to any searchers, anything like that. The only person or company group that filed any type of report was the United Cajun Navy, and that was done to Nashville PD. Other than that, there has been no reports. There's none in the exhibits. There's nothing about interference, nothing with the actual investigation, just more word salad. Okay, carry on.
While not lifting one finger, except for stupid photo ops in one person's two of these creators' cases.
Speaking of photo ops, Brittany J called Seth in the boat, him and Tony, when he was borrowing Tony's boat. She called that a photo op. Is that what you're referencing here?
So I want people to start really thinking about how do we get this back to Sebastian? What do we need to do? And how do we start searching for him again? And how do we start eliciting the audience help to be a part of this?
Factual information. That would be a good start.
Sending me emails, give me some ideas. We need to get this corrected. This is about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is not about Dog the Bounty Hunter, Nick the Hat. This is not about Seth. This is not about Tony, and it's certainly not about Bullhorn Betty. We need to start focusing. So send me those emails. You guys have a great morning.
Send her emails, but she doesn't. I'm not encouraging anybody to send her emails. She's asking for people to send her emails of how to get this. Oh, Betty.
We'll be back. I hope to see those emails and us have a diligent conversation later this afternoon about the emails I received today. Bullhornbetty@gmail.com.
She really needs content. In other words, she was already saying that the Facebook stuff is drying up and she needs content. Now she needs emails to go off of to make content out of. Okay, Betty.
Bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We need to find a way to take back Sebastian's name and allow him to thrive on these streets in a positive manner that will help elicit information that can bring him home and bring him home safely. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, let's be kind to one another. If you are a bad person that's done horrible things, talked horrible to people, and you want to change your life, today is a great day to start anew.
Oh, no, we're not. Oh, no. Oh, Betty.
This has got to be awful for you guys. It's got to be I guarantee the people.
If you don't fall in line with my narrative and you want to come to the dark side and change your heart, the door is open.
People that harbor all this hate.
You can be saved.
And stuff inside them can't be functioning well, can't be sleeping well, and definitely cannot be happy individuals. Let's change your life. Let's make you happier. Let's make you healthier. Let's make you.
Oh my God, is this life coaching by the Bedster?
Find purpose in your world.
Holy shit. Holy shit. She just got her trage evangelist in there on the end. Well, if that wasn't some. What was that? I'm kind of dumbfounded after that one. Like, yeah, no, thanks. No, thanks. I will sleep. Continue. Oh. And the answer is simple. If you want to talk about Sebastian, talk about the facts, not the salacious rumors and misinformation that you continue to put out here. If you really want dignity for Sebastian, you'd be concerned about the facts and not targeting his parents off of misinformation. But there's that. So, yeah, I'm pretty much speechless after that whole situation. But to wrap it up, I think you all see, BJ, you can continue to come and do your petty little bullshit, puffing your peacock feathers, puffer fish, whatever you want to do. Like, you said it all today. You're not afraid of anything. Meanwhile, you claim in your complaint that you are afraid and all of this other shit. I mean, that's again, you think. I'm saving that for the filing stuff, but you sit with people that do this. This is your team members. This is the person you're standing in solidarity with. Betty, you've completely lost the plot and have lost the plot for a long time. I'm sure the upcoming court date has you stressed out, but it is what it is. So for those of you that continue to miss the point, what I'm talking about and the harm and the misinformation that these people continue to do and how they align themselves, there you go. Any questions about what we talked about today? Absolutely, Kay. Lauren, I think. Holy shit, that was a wild one. Does anybody have any questions about where we went today? I think it was pretty easy to see. Yeah, Kenna, she was so afraid she had to get security cameras, and then now she's not afraid. Thank you, Tracy. I'm just like, what the fuck? Dear terms of service, this is like, what these, they don't understand. Like, it's very simple, this concept here. She's a big, brave girl. She was so bothered by me saying that when this is all over and said and done, the people around her aren't going to like, and she's like, what are you going to do, nonsense? What are you going to do? I'm not doing nothing. Your words have done it all. Your behaviors have done it all. Aligning yourself with Betty and the team and using a missing child's name for a personal vendetta is doing it all. I don't have to do shit. I just have to sit here and play your own words. Like, you and Betty are a team, remember? Standing in solidarity, unity for all. We got to help each other out. She would help you out. Like, and then she does shit like this. How, as a parent of a child on the spectrum, because you talk about that publicly, so I'll ask this publicly again. You want to ask me questions? I answered your question and I showed you 3 hours and 45 minutes of content. There's your answer. But how do you sit by with the ignorance that she spews about autism? How do you do that? That's what I'd like to know. I'm sure you got an answer for it, right? A factual answer? How you condone this? Crazy. Yeah, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. I don't know what will happen on Wednesday. I really don't have a clue. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. I'm not going to do a second live today. This was a longer one. But I do have another channel to come back and debunk some misinformation because they're now getting into the Sebastian case and using misinformation to build their base to their audience. So I'm going to do that later on, but it'll probably be tomorrow. Yeah, Kay, that's very true. Simple is not so simple, and common sense isn't that common. Yeah, that is very true. Very, very true. Stay safe out there, y'all. See you later. Bye.